WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
friend. He hold me down like anchors fighting the waves. Up all night to my crime. Yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I'll be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so weak. Say, easy to love. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so weak. Say, easy to love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time. I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me. Know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide to make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, some magic, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so easy. Say, easy to love. Easy to you make it easy. Say, to take it easy. Say, feel so weak. Say, easy to love. You make it easy. You make it easy. You make it easy.
You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, ball, entertaining crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertaining crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl. What is going on, though? What you doing here? This time,
I was
we
on
supposed
time,
to be through.
everybody.
She wasn't actually on time. She was still 6:02. Now, because this clock is fast, it appeared as though slow.
Nobody had to know that, man.
Hey, man. Hey, bro.
Baby steps. I'm okay with the baby steps.
I'm proud of you, though.
I'm trying.
I was like, wait.
I'm gonna get there.
I was like, all right.
I'm gonna even start back getting the papers.
You gonna start? Look, look. 2 days a week, I can't depend on. What I'm gonna do the other 3? Don't get the papers. Let's just leave that with Ruth. Let's just and shoot. I gotta wait for Reese too. Reese, it depends on how Reese feeling in the morning. If I'm gonna get the papers.
Okay.
If he feeling good, I can tell if he feeling good, he'll come in. He'll go look at the printer, and then he'll come and I'll be getting ready to get up. He'll hand it to me. If he feeling funny, it'll be like, hey, Reese, how are you this morning? Welcome. Good morning, Reese. Welcome. Welcome to the... No, Reese come in every morning now and he say, what's up, Bob? I'll be like, what's up, Reese? Right? It is the Maze Jackson Show. I'll be your host, Maze Jackson, but that's right, in the building early today, it is Miss Ruthie Moore. Ruthie Moore, how you feeling this morning?
You know what? I am feeling pretty good.
I was thinking you must have got some sleep.
No, I didn't, but... I'm just trying to adjust to a new schedule.
Well, see, look, well, it's yours. It's young.
The world is my oyster.
It's young, so you better go on and it's young. You better go ahead and crack. Now, it's funny too, cause I be ready to be like, where's? Oh, damn, it's in my inbox. Like, where's my? Dang nabbit. It's all you have to do is stop by. They're ready. They're waiting. Where is my right? Yeah. I'm starting to. I yesterday when I was so I was in the car yesterday. I had to take an Uber, and I was like, man, I could be productive in this Uber, and so I wrote up like the baseline of the membership stuff from the work plan, so I could be like, pew, shoot this over now, turn this into something, get it cracking. So I can't be like, where's my? Yeah, but you adjusted to the new schedule. Now don't forget, Reese was like, "Damn, look, yesterday I printed out the papers because I thought you was Mondays and Wednesdays." Reese was looking at the papers like, "Damn, she playing me again." No Reese and no Ruthie Moore and Reese show. She done switched up.
No, I made sure to text him this time.
All right,
I texted him. I said, Reese, I'm gonna be there Thursday. Cause May's leaving.
So y'all know I'm bouncing out once again at 8:30. I have a question. So I have to eat my lunch, and there's no microwave because they don't like me. So they're not going to let me, I'm just not the go-along black dude. I'm just not the go-along black dude. So it's like everybody there be mad at me, right? Like my such and such people be like, dang, dog, we could just get this over with if you just, and I be like, no.
So they won't let you heat your food up?
I don't really trust them with my food now. Right? They be like, they be looking to see what I want. So I'm like, I'll be packing my own lunch. So I told you, y'all see out there I made my lunch, right? So I did the Brandon Tomlin. Remember yesterday we was talking about the kids who come to lunch and so I got me I made last night, I made chicken, Kobe Jack, barbecue, jalapeno, bacon on a garlic bread bun sandwich.
That's a lot going on, Maze.
But you mix it all up. It's like a Philly. It's like a shredded chicken Philly with all of those ingredients mixed up.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Right? So then you just, and it look like, it's like a blob, but it's really, really good. But how do you, like, was not one to take my lunch, so when they won't let me, do I heat it up now before I leave and then put it in my bag? Because I got one of them bags that be hot and cold.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And then I just heat it up and just put it in the bag.
Yep.
And then it'll stay hot for a couple hours. Because they won't let me.
Let me tell you how to do it.
Okay.
You put in some foil, right? That's your outer layer. Okay. You take some hand warmers. You activate them in the air, and that'll keep your stuff cold. I mean, it'll keep it warm.
I don't want no hand warmer chemicals in my sandwich.
You don't got to have it touching your food. Just put it that the air is circulating around it.
I don't have a thermos, Tennille.
But you got if you got one of those bags, a hot and cold bag.
I got that bag from when you get the Jenny's ice cream delivered.
With the little foil thing in the inside.
It's like a whole bag. It's just like
a cold bag.
Yeah, and you just it's cold and hot. They say you could. So I look crazy walking in though. Boy, I straight be walking in.
Why don't you do what Reese did to stay warm? Didn't he say he used to use the blow dryer to like warm stuff up?
What, I'm supposed to take in the bathroom?
Yeah, take a blow dryer from the house.
You sound crazy.
Tough.
And then I'm gonna take it. They don't even know if they got no plugs, man. You be having to bring your own dang on power sometimes. I can't plug a blow dryer in. Well, anyway, we gonna figure out how do I get my sandwich hot? Cause you know, it's like they be playing me bogus, so I had to eat my lunch. Like I be having to. They be like,
you gotta eat by yourself.
I be happy to eat by myself because I be like. Crunch. I'll be finding the best. Like, I'll be like, I'm having gourmet lunch. I'll be like, pass me the Grey Poupon, please.
I like Grey Poupon.
I do too.
I actually don't mind the generic version.
There is one? No. Nah, I like Hoffen.
Oh.
The Hoffen, the ones that's the little. Man, they got the honey mustard.
You
that's
upper echelon.
Really, it's only, it's like it's $2.
Do you feel like groceries are like super expensive?
No, not really.
Not really?
I mean, I do. Well, yes, now I do buy it because I think yesterday I went to go buy this stuff for my lunch and it wound up being $40.
For like one meal?
Yeah. That's what, hey, man, it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, they say inflation is 7.5%. If you go to the grocery store now, though, you can't even be cool.
It's crazy.
You can't even find stuff.
They going to start doing smash and grabs at the grocery store. And that's how you know the end will be near.
They done hooked it up at Pete's. Pete said, after the last go-round, they was like, you will not get us. Pete's got they got like metal army bars around it. You got to pay for the carts now. It's like, they be like, before you come up in here, you're going to have to go through.
The fortress.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you ain't stealing no cart for. You might could take a couple bags, but you ain't getting your cart out of here.
Hey, man, you know what they said, though? That the carts, the 25-cent cart, saves them millions of dollars annually on dings. Because if you're parked in a car lot and you get scratched, you can go in. And the wife, I feel like if your car gets scratched in the parking lot, you got to chalk it up to the parking lot. White people be going back. Like, my car got scratched in the car and I want my money to get it scratched, to get it fixed. They said that 25 cent makes people come back. They want their quarterback.
Straight up.
And they said you don't got to worry about the carts in the lot. They be all chained up right there.
Straight up. Unless you know how to hack it. And
I don't never have a quarter. I never have a quarter. Like, what am I mean, I'm not saying it in a bogus way.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't really, and as we move to cashless, it's like at least make it where I could swipe it or something.
But you know what the trick, if you ain't got one, is just walk up to somebody that's returning theirs and just ask them for theirs.
And they be like, you don't give me my quarter?
Sometimes they'll just give it to you, Maze.
I'm not. I don't want to owe them. They might think I owe them, and they're going to see me one day and be like, remember that time
I gave you that quarter?
You needed it. It's like, because I don't care about, like, how much it costs. It's how much did you need it?
Ooh.
Right? It don't matter how much it costs.
Ooh.
Right? If somebody told you.
Oh, good advice. Right? Or not. I don't know.
Well, depending on what side of it you are. Right? Depending on what side. All right, shout out to Maze Jackson Show. That's Maze and Ruthie. But you know we can't do this thing without saying what's up to the man, DJ Reese the Ruler. Reese, how you feeling this morning?
You know I'm blessed by the best. You already know the rest. How you doing out there, y'all?
Look,
Reese got his do-rag on.
Because he got his hair whipped yesterday.
Ooh.
And then,
You going to come on the camera today when Maze leave because you got a new haircut?
I'll see.
Oh, he taking off his
Well,
wig.
you know it.
Look, he was like, Reese ready for the, for he ready. He's like,
The
it's
big
showtime.
reveal, the big
He like, he
reveal.
ready for showtime. Reese, that's why Reese got his haircut yesterday, because your haircut is best the second day.
Why is that?
Because the first day is like don't get me wrong, you still fresh in the mug.
It ain't
but
settled.
it ain't set in. You still got the carve line from when he put the rays on your head. You know what I'm saying? You be like, you can see it because your skin it be light from here to here. So you see when the people got the haircut. But then after they got the haircut, the next day, like Reese got his haircut the day before, so today is the next day. This is freshest day. That's why he timed it like that. He timed it like that. This the fresh day.
A black man in a do-rag is either like one of the greatest sights or one of the scariest things ever. Ain't no in between for me.
See, for my, I be kind of feeling cool when my son got his little do-rag on, because he cut all his hair off. Mm-hmm. But I don't.
You let him wear it outside? Or you make him take it off?
If he go in the ball.
So
like,
just
he
depends.
ain't, nah, dog, we ain't rolling. Now, if I feel like we just decided we want to be rebel and we've decided that we're taking the Negro route.
Mm-hmm. Then you
Right.
let him wear it?
Then he get to wear, like, if it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we've decided that we're going to make the white people uncomfortable today, if I'm feeling very, we're going to make the white people uncomfortable today, then he'll rock it. But then when I'm feeling like we're going to make the white people uncomfortable today, he'd be like, you already too much, so let me take this bad boy off, right? He know if I go to the basketball game with a what's in it for the black people and we playing Catholic League, he like, oh, God, here we go, right? And you know what I'm saying? And don't let me get my vest. Or I got a jacket, too. So, if I got the jacket, the vest, and God help you if I put my chain on, right? If I put my chain on, he'd be like, oh, God, damn.
The gorilla chain.
Yeah. He'd be like, oh, because But see, then it'd be them times when he'd be like, Dad, he don't want to be like, I'd be like, I'm fresher than you. He'd be like, no, you're not.
Oh.
No, Dad, you're not. I'm like, I dress better than you. He's like, no, you really don't. I'm like, dude, you only wear sweats and gym shoes, and I'm still fresher than you. What? My son he has like a quiet confidence. He doesn't talk a lot, but he certainly will make sure that you know when he's right. Right? He ain't, but yes, he will definitely. Some days I be a little nervous because, he ain't always, I didn't make him march through O Block to prove his manhood.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So, some days I be a little, you be like, man, I don't know. And let me tell you though, he will get in there with the best of them and be like, he got the daddy. What? I don't care. I'll be like, dog. Okay, let me tell you about that. Let me tell you about that little streak you got in you. That streak you got in you, that could be an issue. Especially when the dude is like 7 foot tall. I used to like to fight 7 feet tall people. Right.
Giants.
Right, like, exactly. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Maze, Reese, Ruthie. Let's get the soul plane up to 60,000 feet. We are up and away. Let's hit through some of these headlines really quickly. Reese, Ruthie, Reese. Yesterday, okay, did anybody get a chance to check out the Joe Biden 1-year anniversary press conference?
Whew. I thought it was part of an app that put people to sleep.
I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit during the question and answer. Like, he was like, I mean, how long do we have to do this? They were like, he was like, I've been going an hour. How much more do you want? What? You want me to go all night? They were like, yes. Because he's only done 2 press conferences alone since he's been the president. Think about that. Only
This is kind of hard to watch.
So, did you see the part when they asked him that a majority of Americans do not believe that he is mentally fit to be the president? And they asked him that.
I didn't see that part.
And he was like, why? Ruthie. I'm going to have to pull it up because it was just like, did y'all really just ask the president this on the national TV? Then he had what you call them moments? He had a senior moment because he told the Russians that we really wasn't going to do nothing if they just did a little bit. But if you stuck it, like I have a great analogy for this. Okay. But I'm not going to use it because it's too early and it's too, but he said, if they go, he basically said, if they just go in a little bit, we won't be upset. But if they go all the way in, then we're going to have to do something, which basically said to which basically said, y'all can invade, just don't do too much.
Okay.
Like because they really don't want to go to war with Russia. And I was just saying, like, I felt like Vladimir Putin was on TV, was doing push-ups, watching Joe Biden. Like, I can.
China and Russia is out for a big the land grab. They trying to preserve their land mass as well as add to them. And there seems to be nothing that America can do, particularly when it comes to quote unquote human rights violations, that Russia and China ain't willing to do because they know it's like a game of hit my hand first.
Man, and really, Joe Biden, like, so
Russia gonna do what they want to do when it come to Ukraine. They feel like
getting ready to take all theirs. They going to take all their stuff back. The Soviet Union is coming back.
It's like China and Hong Kong.
Like Hong Kong Fooey. Remember that? Quicker than a human eye. You don't remember that?
No. What is that? A song?
It was a cartoon. Hong Kong Fooey, and he used to do karate.
Sounds a little familiar. No.
Hong Kong Fooey.
No,
quicker than a human eye. Yeah, it used to come on after Super Friends.
Super Friends.
You don't remember the Super Friends? And they had like it was like Aquaman, Superman,
but I ain't never watched it.
All of them, man. All right, so I'm gonna go find the Joe Biden video at some point. I'll show it to you guys. But it was, they asked him about his mental competency. I did not see the black people. I did not see the black people question. What was it? I'm gonna have to try and find that. Somebody find me the clip for that too. All right. But also, I just want to tell you that watching the press conference, Joe Biden reminded me of Lori Lightfoot, and I am clear that Joe Biden is the Lori Lightfoot of the nation. Like when he was fussing at the press and calling them basically stupid and what you can't see, and I was like, dang, this dude is like Lori Lightfoot of the nation. And then I thought about how Lori Lightfoot reminded me of Trump. And I was just thinking like how Trump has just completely influenced the way politics is done at this point.
So much so that I think that's where that mental fit question came in.
Yep.
And it's like, oh.
Man, I'm telling you.
It's interesting how the media then just turned. Like, because at first it was like, Biden and Kamala, woo. But now the media is actually kind of, like mainstream media is kind of like, well, they kind of framing it like Biden's approval ratings are low.
No, they said yesterday in the press conference, I got to find it. We'll do it for at 7 o'clock. In the press conference, the dude straight up asked, like the Newsmax reporter was like, does it concern you that a majority of Americans do not believe that you are mentally fit? Why do they believe that? It was like,
how you supposed to answer that one?
He didn't. He was like, I don't know, and moved on. Lord, I felt so bad. Like there was a point when okay, we're going to talk about this at 7 o'clock. Y'all tune in at 7 o'clock because it was just, I just felt poor. I felt like, man, Joe, like literally. Like, man, Joe, I felt like my Chicago was all, every time he talked, I was, man, Joe.
Who was that, the president in the wheelchair that they never let anybody see who had the wheelchair?
FDR.
That's what this kind of like.
No, it ain't.
Why you say no?
Because we never saw him in a wheelchair. We see in Joe Biden.
But I'm saying it's because we experiencing a level of sausage making politics that we haven't necessarily really been privy to. Like the veil has been lifted in.
No, we are witnessing senility, the onset.
What's that word?
Senility.
Oh,
we are witnessing, in my estimation, the onset of like. I mean, it's just
like some type of
Yep.
Cognitive degenerative
and what they're going to, I was just thinking we got 3 more years.
For real?
This was only his first year.
That's what I said, Ruthie. I swear to God, when I read the paper, that's the first thing I said. It's only been 1 year.
Man, Joe, that dude.
You're
think
right,
about
man, Joe.
That's what I kept.
Joe.
See how I wrote it on the paper? Because I kept saying that's 7 o'clock. This title was Man, Joe. Like double entendre. Man, Joe, like I'm straight up like, man, Joe, do you see this? And it's like, So we gotta save this for 7 o'clock.
Okay,
No,
we
no.
can save it.
Save it for 7 o'clock. Save it for 7 o'clock. Omicron is on the way out, apparently.
Says who?
Says Dr. Arwady, says J.B. Pritzker, says we don't trust nothing that Joe Biden says at this point because we don't know who told him. Did you know?
I'm tired of people saying cautiously optimistic. Just leave that out of the COVID vernacular. Just say you don't know.
It's coming back. No, they just saying they.
I'm sick of them two words being put together to try to finesse.
So I had two headlines for this. It was initially Omicron on the way out, but Reese for the black people, Omarion exits stage left. Right? See, Omicron, Omarion. Is that see, look, he trying to do a little something. See, Reese trying to be a little production, trying to.
You ain't even hear the Tony. Okay, because it's our anniversary, but I ain't know just one. Oh my God.
I mean,
you gotta acknowledge.
Hey man. You gotta get started. You got your first day. Good Lord. You want a gold medal on the first day?
I'm trying to teach you how to.
Let me. Yes, Reese. Thank you. Reese, thank you for doing your job. I appreciate you. You are the best.
It's something
You
new.
are the best. Give him a round of applause, y'all.
Thank you.
I see you, Reese.
I
see you, Reese.
Somebody see me.
I see you, Reese.
Oh my God.
See, I'm trying to teach you the art of how to interact with millennials and younger generations.
Now I want to do better, Ruthie. I want to keep on doing it for those applause.
Yeah, well, no, you should want to do it because one day someone is gonna be like, "Who is that? Who is that excellent producer on the Maze Jack? Who is that person that is behind the boards? I want to do that for my nationally syndicated show. Now that could be my nationally syndicated show.
I know that's right.
Now, you become a nationally syndicated show because you have a team. Not because you have one person. Everybody plays their role. Everybody just doesn't always get to be Maze.
Nobody can ever be Maze.
Right, but just like this, right? It's just like in a band, everybody tries to like the singer. But then there's the people that be like, I like the drummer. Right? Like think about New Edition.
Okay.
It's Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike. Ralph. You got, if you liking Ralph, you might be a little sus. But the point of the matter is everybody got their favorite, right? So I'm the star. But Ruthie got a fan club. Reese got a fan club, right? People say, hey, man, that's your voice, right? It's like, just like the Beatles, just like nobody just likes the lead singer, right? And as soon as I start singing, I lose people anyway, right? So it's all good. It's all good. We all got a role to play. And when I'm just telling y'all, when we flying private, and they like, yo, we want y'all to come do the Mace Jackson show live from Miami for the Super Bowl.
Let's go.
Then everybody gonna be like, dang, I'm glad you listened to me. I'm glad I listened to you when you said, I'm just telling you, I ain't never really lost. If you look around, I ain't never really lost. Now, you might jump early. You might get mad. But I ain't never really lost. It might take me a minute to figure it out. But look at Big Swill. He jumped, came, right? It always comes. I don't want to be on the BNC. Don't nobody want to be on. They changed it. They canceled the BNC. I want to be like, I want to broadcast live from DraftKings Stadium.
Oh.
You stop. I want to do like small venues and then arenas. Right? Where you come and see us live on the stage and it's a live band and we call and Kanye performing, right? And we got y'all got to have a vision, man. You can't be it if you can't see it. All right, man.
We are the world.
We are the world.
My bad, y'all.
We are the children. That's all right, because we're going to have auto-tune. Yeah, we're going to have auto-tune karaoke, and you saw me when I hit, because I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I killed it with my auto-tune karaoke. We're going to do all of that. Look, y'all, it's the Mace Jackson Show. We're going to do a few more headlines when we come back. Plus, we're going to open up the phone lines for the social media question of the day, and we're going to welcome the Saints, because I had to do some sinning to pay the bill yesterday. But we are back, and we'll talk about it all when we come back. Saints, I'm telling y'all, Saints,
He'll forgive you.
I cursed the Saints out yesterday when I was turning over that check. I was like, these Saints. Jesus,
Let's look at it as your tithe.
That's more than, look, that's why we need to charge 40%.
So they were trying to see, you was putting in your 40%, man. So you can get ahead of the line. You know what I'm saying? So you can
I made the line.
No way.
That's my hustle.
This is Jesus' line.
God is supposed to deliver. Look, this is supposed to.
Hey,
okay.
can I count my 10 and yours?
No. Shoot, speaking of 10, good God, it's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after these messages. So sweet.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Join Mickey, Elsa, Woody, and more at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing January 20 to 23rd and February 3rd to 6th at Allstate Arena. Free parking with ticket purchase.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion has to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, and I want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media? The time is now 6:36 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather report. Let's head on to sports. The Chicago Bulls needed a big win against the conference and division rival, the Cleveland Cavaliers, last night. DeMar DeRozan understood the assignment as he dropped 30 points in a Bulls win, 117-104 C Red. Let's head over to traffic on the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop today will be 18 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 16. On the Edens, inbound from Deerfield to Exchange will be 28 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield, 26. The Eisenhower was locked in both directions at 28 minutes, while the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan is 35 minutes. Outbound will be 31. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 35 minutes, 32 minutes to I-80, while the Dan Ryan is 16 minutes to the Loop and 13 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Lakeshore Drive South, 55th to Jackson and back will be 7 minutes, and 8 minutes north. That'll be Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather, it is currently 10 degrees and clear. Today will only be a high of 18 with a low of 9. I'm Reese the Ruler, and as y'all already know, God's going to turn around here this morning on the Maze Jackson Show.
Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. Glory to Gethsemane, to Golgotha, to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, to Golgotha, to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, to Golgotha, to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, to Golgotha, Golgotha, to the grave, from the grave. Dear Lord, it's me again. God's gonna turn it around. I'm calling on you. You did it before. I believe that you can do it again. Somebody calling you right now, Lord. If it ain't one thing we need, somebody else needs you for another. Please, son, look and have mercy. Have mercy over our home, Lord. Have mercy. Have mercy. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Reese the Ruler. My girl Ruthie Moore is in the building. I was gonna say it must be, but I don't know which days. I'm trying to get it all together. We're gonna have to make us a schedule. We just got to post it so I can know what's going on. Ruthie Moore is in the building. DJ Reese the Ruler. See, there y'all
I need
go.
no structure.
See, that's exactly.
Structure is for suckers.
Yep. Rich suckers. Keep on. Rich suckers. I'll show you all the jelly. Lucy Goosey jelly. Okay. Even the YouTube stars got a schedule. They be looking at their analytics to be like, this is the best time to post. But it's okay. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, DJ Reese the Ruler in the building. I want to say welcome to all of the Saints from WBGX 1570 AM. Saints, y'all got to pray for me hard. Because yesterday I had to drop y'all check off to WBGX. Saints, I be feeling a certain kind of way. We're going to have to start breaking this up. I can't do it all at once. Because when I do it all at once, I be like, them Saints, I'm going to have to cut them Saints off. I'm going to have to go on back to the... I would have asked Joe Biden, what's in it for the black people? What's in it for... And I would have did like, what's in it for the black people? He'd be like, who? What do you mean? We're going to get them off those plantations. He'd be like, I remember. Let me stop. Yeah, man. They was working Joe over. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay. We'll
so we got to say. Let me get through these headlines. All right, so I told y'all Omarion exited stage left. That's for the black people. We didn't talk about this yesterday, but the Sun-Times got bought by is getting bought by WBEZ, who is owned by parent company Chicago Public Media. Mm-hmm. Back up. Chicago Public Media, who is the owner of WBEZ, is buying the Chicago Sun-Times. Nakia Wright, the black editor, will remain, but they will now come under the guidance of Chicago Public Media. I've been seeing WBEZ has been emerging as the investigative. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like all of the reporters were leaving. And as they were getting fired, if they didn't go national, then WBEZ was picking them up. And WBEZ seems to be having the most in-depth, thoughtful stories. So I think it'll be great to see those two team up.
Agreed.
Shout out to Alden Keith Lori, who I really want to get on over here. He's my frat brother, but he's also the editor of Race and Politics or something over there. You know, we be on the intellectual. You know, y'all be looking around, be like, Dad. Them damn signals. Oh, sorry. You know, they damn Black Creek organization. They be trying to take all the black people away. Just take us and put us back on the boats. Forget Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, I was crying about that. That's all right. Let me stop.
Not crying.
Huey P. No, let me stop. All right, y'all. University of Michigan to pay reparations to the male victims of the team sports doctor. Ruthie, do you watch Real Sports with Brian Gumbel?
Back in the day I did.
Okay,
I didn't know it still come on.
It's still on and it is really good. It's like a 20. It's crazy that they do once a week and it's like all of this stuff. But Real Sports, like some of this doctor was giving all of the male athletes prostate exams on every visit.
Okay.
One time, one of the players said that he had a groin injury, and the doctor told him he had to finish him to make sure everything was all good, manually.
Oh. Okay.
And when you see like this big black dude, like so it's like, you know, Dr. Larry Nassar, the story about him and the girls. It was the same thing, but for men. And I just feel like, damn, Joe, I don't even know how you came on TV and told this story, bro.
$490 million.
Well, did you see USC had to pay like almost $1 billion, $982 for a doctor that was but they can't, like these universities are paying. If you take all the settlements from these universities, they gonna get billions. Did you also see the story about, and I did this, so I didn't do it over break, but how University of Chicago, Northwestern, and a bunch of elite schools conspired to stop to block financial aid for low for students.
To sort of like rig the financial aid system.
They rigged it so that they didn't have to take in high financial aid recipients. It's like,
what is it called when it's price fixing?
Yeah, it was like a cartel of the most elite schools, including University of Chicago and Northwestern.
I saw that, Maze. That was kind of.
We don't have to come back.
I was shocked about that.
We need to find somebody. I'm not shocked about anything that anybody does to suppress or stop from having to help have black participation.
And it also goes to show you that they don't care about. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't care, but they bread and butter ain't coming from financial aid. It's coming from donors, benefactors, alum, legacy families.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Did you see the Supreme Court of Illinois is set to rule on whether campaign contributions should pay legal fees?
I saw that, Maze.
Where are you on that? Do you think
well, you know, when we talked about Ed Burke the other day, and we kind of like outlined the play. We touched on that in terms of like the whole aspect of using a campaign fund for that. You know, I'm always hesitant to change some rules that I feel like black people might ultimately be able to use the same play one day.
Mm-hmm. That's why, like, it's funny because a lot of people that I know say that on the black side say that if black politicians are full-time politicians,
mm-hmm.
if they were to get in trouble, the only source of income that they got is through politics and through the...
Exactly.
And for Ed Burke, he got political money
mm-hmm.
and he got personal money.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so they were like, we wouldn't be able to defend ourselves at all. Now, that some people would say, well, you just don't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But then if the feds do you, part of their whole thing is being able to drain you. The reason that Mike Madigan and Ed Burke are still out, whereas you see all the other people trying to get a settlement or
mm-hmm.
trying to figure their way out, is Mike Madigan them done paid $3 million
mm-hmm.
in legal. They paying like $3 million a quarter, so like $12 million a year,
and got plenty more though.
Yep.
But you know, I thought it was interesting to see like how much like a Carrie Austin is using on her defense. It's like 80,000 versus they like 12 million. So that really goes to show you like.
And Carrie Austin did right. Well, exactly.
Can't they also use that money to like do ballot challenges and stuff like that?
They do that, yeah. Well,
so that's what I'm saying. I don't think they should really like be able to. I don't know. I do think that that's an interesting.
Well, I mean, I feel like Madigan knew he was going down, so
mm-hmm.
he ran up the tab.
But you know, it seemed like, okay, so when I think about the current like high profile politicians who are using that tactic, it's part of like the overall play. It's like, hey, if I'm the king and I'm feeding all y'all better feed me back so that a time might come one day when I need to keep my mouth shut and I have enough money to do so. Because most of the time mugs get to talking and ratting when they ain't got the bread.
Right. When you like dude finna go down and he can't.
Exactly. It's like, oh, well, let me tell then. But yeah, I'm hesitant to change some rules, Maze, for a play that I feel like black people will be able to one day utilize.
Okay. Ruthie, that's odd coming from you. I mean, I see a lot.
Because, I mean, it just reminds me of how when Chris Welch got in, people talking about term limits. It's like, no, hold on, pump the brakes on that.
Mm-hmm. Look
at
you.
Just trying to look at stuff from a different perspective, because people, they'll try to.
What? Ruthie Mo?
Listen, if it's about money and power, then anything that comes up against that they trying to put rules into play after they done utilized them for decades to enrich themselves and their families, ain't nobody going for that.
Oh.
Right?
I feel like I've done my job. Almost, because you still be like, you want a participation trophy. But at least you listen when you come to class. I am that analysis made me very proud, Ruthie.
Thank you, Maze.
I'm glad to know that you really, I mean, that like really is, right? It's sort of like the filibuster.
Good one.
Right? It's like you want to take the filibuster down now.
Mm-hmm.
that we might need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
No, and then they want to leverage us to do it. Ruthie, see, you made today worthwhile. Did you see the CTA snub the city council? They needed $25 million, and the dude that needed the $25 million didn't bother to show up, Dorville Carter. And they was like, wait, y'all want us to make a $25 million transfer, and y'all not going to even, he not coming?
What's up with that?
It just shows the status of where the mayor has dropped the alderman down to. Right? And it's like, now you complaining. Like, you keep letting her get away with it. And now her staff don't feel like they got to listen to you neither. Right? So now, when this dude who they just gave a $326,000, gave him a raise to $326,000, Ruthie, he needs $25 million to shore up the CTA, and he decided he ain't coming. Then they said, when they called him, because it was a Zoom meeting, and they was like, well, hold on, we'll just go get him. He was like, he was busy.
Ooh.
So I'm going to just tell you, during any rhyme or daily, if $25 million is on the line and your agency head didn't show up talking about he was busy, Ruthie, I'm here to tell you, they would have found him anywhere in the country and delivered him to get the $25 million. Think about how dope you got to be. Think about how jazzy you got to be to feel like I got $25 million on the line. They call you and they say, hey, Ruthie, we need you to call us because we need you to jump on this Zoom. We got $25 million to save CTA. I'm busy. What you doing? What you got? What you got more important than $25 million? And you black too?
Are people able to ask him questions during that time?
Well, that's why but
okay, then that's why he ain't show up. I wouldn't have showed up either. If my ridership was down and
but it's like they just it's all,
if crime, somebody just got stabbed, they're probably gonna ask about all of those things.
They was also it's just crazy to me. I don't know, Ruthie.
You know, it's interesting that the way that people are accustomed to, I think people are, there are no, what's the word, like protocol, decorum, I don't even know the word, pomp and circumstance, like all of those things are like different now within politics. Like it's like truly is less civility, if that makes sense, but it's also less pomp and circumstance. Like people ain't doing the little normal little things the way they used to.
Yes, I do. I feel like, and that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is everybody has done the shortcut. It's like if everybody reads the Cliff Notes and nobody reads the book, then it's like we got a bunch of Cliff Note people who can only skim the surface, can't do it when it comes down to it. And I feel like as we dismiss these protocols,
protocols, good word,
there's something that's lost in the translation. I was thinking about like the evolution of a campaign. And now the thought that people think that you can campaign virtually, that you can run a campaign virtually, that you can generate the best ideas virtually. You can't. Like, to me, there is something about being communal that when you all are trying to figure out a problem and you're in the room together, like not turning your cameras off, not being like, man, I got 3 million things, but like when you trying to figure something out, being in a room, brainstorming, putting the best ideas on the table and working it out. And I think as we continue to move into this virtual space, there's so much that gets lost in between there. That now people feel like I don't have to do the basics. It's like, and as you don't have to practice those skills become like, to me, there's something to writing a plan or putting it on the board and me being like, ooh, there's a hole right there. What about this? What about that? And I think we're losing that. I think like even with this Dorville Carter not showing up, feeling like I don't need to explain myself. Give me the $25 million. It's a legislative body that, but again, they've eroded their own power. Right, by voting again. Like once you crack the seal, you show that it can be cracked. There was
that it was an illusion in the first place.
Well, see, but there was a time, and perfect case when they approved this housing in this man's ward, the white guy up north, and he didn't want it, Napolitano, and the city council went against him, and the time honored rule was no matter what, you get to decide what's going on in your district, in your ward. Now you broke it, and now guess what?
So you think this is tied to the larger argument for and against aldermanic prerogative?
I think it's tied to the erosion of yes. And I think that was the basis of their power. And as that has been eroded, they really don't. Like they don't. Well, I mean, I think about it. If I can't, you can't. What? Who gonna check me, boo? It used to be a time when your alderman could be like, nope, and know that he could count on all of his council members. And now they can, and regardless of race, creed, color, whatever. It was like, man, Joe, if you don't want this in your ward, we're going to support you because it's going to happen to me. Well, once they went against old boy, it's like Ruthie, the loss of, but this Dorval Carter not showing up to a city council hearing for $25 million, and they didn't send nobody though, Ruthie. Like nobody. They was just like, give us the $25 million, and nobody from CTA was there. They was like, if the alderman wants some answers, they can call us. Who gonna check me, boo? Sorry, man. The murder of Tamiko Talbert Fleming. Did you all see that story? The sister who she was on her way to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, pulled up to the stop sign, and somebody came out the back seat, shot her, and killed her. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. She was on her way to cut a client's hair. The name Tamiko Talbert Fleming. If you know or heard or saw, say something. I do think that it was telling, though, that CPD, I thought it was telling that Glenn Brooks said, save yourself by telling. Like, you ain't finna we can't save you. And I do feel like when he said that part, save us, you can participate in saving yourselves by saying something. I almost felt like it's you on your own. So that, and then Andre Leon Talley, do you know him?
The fashion guy.
He died.
I saw that.
I think he started out. I was reading his obituary in the newspaper. But I believe he started with Ebony Fashion Fair.
Really?
Yeah, I saw pictures with him and is it Eunice Johnson?
Okay.
Who started Fashion Fair. And Ebony Fashion Fair was at one point the outlet for black people in fashion. And I think, he got that start there and then was able to get to Vogue. And then, what's that other show y'all watch? Y'all ladies be watching?
America's Next Top Model.
No, is that what he was on? I thought it was the one with the clothes, where the fashion people be trying to be like a designer on one of them channels.
I don't know, man.
Okay,
somebody gonna tell us though.
All right, somebody tell us. But anyway, Andre Leon Talley died this weekend, and I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge that. All right, y'all. This is the Mace Jackson Show. We're supposed to do the social media question of the day. Reese, give me the big voice. We're gonna do it anyway before we get out of here. And open up the phone lines, too. But, Reese, go ahead.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
Ruthie, have you ever heard the word gerontocracy?
No.
Salim! Salim might not be up this early. The word gerontocracy. It means to be a state ruled by old people.
Oh.
I saw this word as I was researching the Joe Biden story, and they said that we have the country's gerontocracy got behind Joe Biden. And it got me to thinking, should we have, the social media question of the day, should we have an unspoken political age limit? You laugh.
That's a good question, Maze.
But should we have? So I never want to appear as an ageist. But I talk about the Afrostocracy, and I think the black community has a black Afrostocracy gerontocracy, i.e., the leadership of our community has been guided by people that have past relevance, not current or future relevance. And I believe that by being led by the gerontocracy, it has led to our demise. And so I want to ask the social media question of the day. Should we have an unspoken political age limit? See, I feel like because we don't have a lot of power in any of the other arenas, whether, I talk about business, politics, grassroots, education. And Ruthie, I don't know that there's any other place that black people not count. But the only two places where black people can succeed without necessarily economics are in politics and in the church. And if you look at the leadership of both in our community, they are often led by the gerontocracy, who obviously, in my mind, do not have always the best interest of our future in mind. Quite often, their decisions are based on the past or stories or experiences of the past. It's kind of like when we talk. Like, I feel like right now, the transition of power is going to go from the gerontocracy to the millennials. I believe that my generation, quite frankly, missed the boat. And so it's almost like we're going to leapfrog from eras. There's not going to be a transition. I think it's going to be, again, we're going to, in my estimation, miss the influence of a whole generation.
In which direction? From above or from below?
From above.
Okay.
So it's going to go from my generation, missed the boat. We took our cues and we're going to let our leaders die in office. Or get to the point where they've guided the boat off the ship, off the cliff, and the millennials will be responsible for dealing with the pieces. I think my generation is riding the boat over the waterfall, just rolling. Just mine and Generation X and Generation Y are on the gerontocracy boat as passengers, not as leaders. And so I wonder, within ourselves, should we begin to establish a political age limit? Right? And in the same time, what do we do to manage that transition? Because I am going to tell you, right? Like, I see it every day. The skip over of that work, right? That, like, I am so concerned that nobody has taught. Not everything is good to be taught, but I feel like the millennials will be left to recreate based on what they heard, not what they saw, what they believe, not what was instilled.
I agree with you. And I think it creates these extreme like situations where it's just like y'all feel like millennials are like extreme. Like but because again, like you said, it's like we coming in being like, dang, we gotta try to right this ship. And it does create like these extreme situations where it's just like free healthcare for everybody.
And righting the ship. It's like that people, if you didn't know slavery, like if you saying slavery wasn't that bad, right? Then you really can't right. You leaning the ship. It's kind of, it's like
I'm with you.
You leaning the ship. It's moving.
It's going in a direction, but maybe not in the direction that.
Right.
It might not be the best. We going, but we might not be going in the right direction.
Right. The boat is moving, but it's moving over the cliff. Now we rowing and we doing our thing, but nobody said, "Hey, yo, millennial, this is how you rudder this bad boy." Right. This is how you take the and quite frankly, a lot of the people in my generation were only rowers. So they never, ever really got the chance to steer the ship. Right? And they kept us as rowers, so you can stay on the boat as long as you rowing. But Negro, if you want to turn that, if you want to get on that rudder.
Good analogy.
And once you get to the rudder, you know that the rudder, your option is either going back to rowing or doing this rudder. I ain't going back down there to row. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Look, y'all, we're going to talk about it some more because I think all of this, I was thinking about Bobby Rush, Danny Davis, Tony Preckwinkle. And then I was thinking about, like, even with the replacement in this race for Congress. I was hearing the mayor saying she was going to come out and endorse. And I was wondering how many people that will run for this position really. Yeah, I want to talk about this at some point. Well, because Ruthie, like, do we start? This is respectfully. If we know it's a 20-year job, and whoever goes is going to be a backbencher, right? Because the Democrats are going to lose, and so whoever's new is going to go. Like, are we going to invest our time, money, and energy in somebody who in 10 years probably should be chilling that can still ride it out to 80? Because once you get it, you got it. And so, like, let me ask, like, should we be considering, how do I say this? So, like, should we be, at 75, should we be considering people for new office or to rerun? Like, at what point do we be like, yo, cuz, like, you 75, and yeah, we can't beat you. But, like, are you really in our best interest? Are you really doing the best service that you possibly can? Like, I feel like your peak is probably from 50 to maybe 70. I think once you get over 70, you gotta be a kingmaker. You gotta take all that wisdom that you got and be happy to pour it into somebody. You can't still be trying to collect pieces off the political board, killing futures.
That's the standard, though.
Right.
It's the standard.
Look, we're going to talk about it some more when we come back. I'm going to try and find this clip on Joe Biden because I can't believe they did that to this man on TV like that. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Join Mickey, Elsa, Woody, and more at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing January 20 to 23rd and February 3rd to 6th at Allstate Arena. Free parking with ticket purchase.
Broken screen? Crash system? Are you in need of spyware or virus removal from your computer? Well, contact RPC Computer Repair in South Shore and let us help you with all your computer repair services and print needs. Need office or print production services, copies, scans, fax, or even notary service? Then stop by and support RPC Computer Repair and Print Shop located 1741 East 71st Street in the 71st Street corridor, newly revitalized South Shore areas, and let RPC be your one-stop shop, where we believe RPC is your PC. RPC Computer Repair is also a UPS access point where you can drop off and pick up your important packages. So let RPC be of service to you. Call RPC Computer Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. at 773-966-4457. That's 773-966-4457. Visit RPC at rpccomputeringinc.com for more information.
Stars were born to fly. I've been searching, crowding, looking for a way out. I've been hurt, falling, but I think I found my way now. I'm on my own, far from home, lost in space, in my zone. I found these truths far from you, in my space, in a stellar mood. Yeah, I finally got my mind right again. Did it all in spite of the hate. Every time they said that again, nebula they run through my veins. Every molecule in the trance, senses feeling some kind of strange. Damn, I think my name's Spider-Man. Jump out the window and swing for the dreams that just might be. Never gonna let go, no, to the man in the mirror look like me. Drifting through the cosmos, far away from your lies. I realign all my goals, that's a constellation of mine, yeah. I've been searching, crawling, looking for a way out. I've been hurting, falling, but I think I found my way now. I'm on my own, far from home, lost in space, in my zone. I found these truths, far from you, in my space, in a stellar mode.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze and Reese and Ruthie and Ty, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect you oppressed to solve them. In the mirror, realize you great. Yeah, we always argue with our brothers, but ain't nobody gonna take our place. Just stay in tune and stay on top about who forwards, about who not. Just green light all the black economy, then watch all the shooting don't stop. To my black people in power, just remember we put you in power. If you really wanna save all the black princesses, be Mario and not Bowser. They gave us a hard job. We gon' make it if we do it together. Divided we fall, we gotta evolve. With confidence, you are ready before you started. With no confidence in the people, we always gon' hate the people.
Seems to have forgotten here tonight is what you're talking about in the capitalistic form of government is power. It's the only thing that this country responds to is power. Economic power and political
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, plus my man, DJ Reese, the ruler. Yes, millennials are hard-headed. Yes, 100%. 100%.
I asked you that off air.
That's all right. I can't wait for y'all. I'm going to be screaming at the phone when y'all have this conversation. Y'all stay tuned to the Ruthie Moore and Reese show today at 8:30. They taking over the microphones. They about to get it in. And y'all I might have to call in.
Oh.
I got comments on this one. I got strong. No, man, you know what? Tennille. This Ruthie Moore in here. These millennials. Ruthie, what we got to do, man? How we going to save? See, we riding the ship over the edge. And y'all like.
It's a roller coaster.
Right. It's like but at the bottom of this roller coaster is the rocks.
Ooh.
Gosh darn millennials. And I don't know what we're going to do with Generation Z.
They lost.
Well, if they get their hands, I think Generation Z going to get it back.
You think so?
Yep. I think because their grandparents going to be like, hold on. Give me that baby. Come here, baby. Like we was like, keep your kids. Now we going to be like, give us them kids. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson.
That's a good point.
I'm just telling you. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore. Got my man, DJ Reese, the rule in the building. Did we open up the phone lines? Didn't nobody call us, did they? They ain't want to say nothing. They ain't talking to us. They don't like us no more. Yesterday, they was talking up some stuff, though.
Woo. Yeah, I watched the show yesterday. I said, you had more calls than yourself.
And that was 2 days in a row. You know, Reese ain't letting them calls go. Reese be like, oh, no. But you know, old Itchy Finger Reese. We call him Itchy Finger Right. itchy finger Reese. Reese be like, if you breathe, he be like, Toop! I be like, dang, I was trying to. You know what I'm saying? Reese be like Ruthie, it's a good thing Reese wasn't at our concealed carry class.
Whoa.
Oh, trigger finger Reese. Boom! He wouldn't even never say, get on the floor. He just like, boom, boom. Oh, get on the floor.
Get on the floor. He already on the floor.
No, you gotta still say that.
You gotta say, please stop. No, you gotta say, please stop.
Pow.
Get on the floor. Don't.
Tell them we know, Maze. We took the class.
We took the class, right, Reese. I told Reese and Swill take the class. They both was like, we can't. I was like, dude, you can still watch.
Who in my house?
Right. Who was that who said, hey, motherfucker. Yo, move. Get
your hand out my pocket.
Right. Get your hand out my pocket. Do y'all realize that was 30 years ago? Do y'all realize that Malcolm X came out 30
years ago?
I saw Malcolm X at the movies. Man, do y'all remember when the Malcolm X movie came out? Everybody had the X hat. I mean, it was like, we were so proud of that movie coming out at U of I. Oh, you couldn't tell us nothing.
I feel like that's when everybody had them X hats and Chicago Bulls gear. Them two things like went together.
That must have been in Kankakee.
In terms of like streetwear, like I feel like I just saw so many black people with Bulls gear and them X hats.
That's because it was during the championship years.
Okay.
And the X hat, I mean, it was iconic.
Who made that hat? Like, was it like
Spike? It was
like
40
an official,
acres.
Oh, okay,
it was a 40
okay.
acres, and then they started knocking them.
Of course.
But like that X hat, man. Do y'all remember in the movie when he did like this? Man, I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be like, when, I probably we left up out, and then we got to see it at the movies at midnight. Like they showed it, there was a midnight show on the college campus, and every black person in the whole campus of U of I was at that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you want to talk about the quietest Negro movie ever in history?
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, Malcolm, do y'all remember seeing Malcolm? I mean, where did you saw it on video though, right?
Yes. And I got a VHS tape. It's like 2 parts.
Dang, you still got it?
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Actually, you know what?
You need to put that in some kind of
low key. I actually got like 2 of them because I just happened to find them in this bin one day, and I was like, I ain't even got no VHS player,
man. I got one.
Straight up.
And I'm about to go buy all of the like I'm gonna go on Amazon or something and find like a cassette player, VHS, like, cause I bet you, how many people got VHS tapes from when they was kids when they used to tape BET when their favorite video came on? You'd be like, man,
that was life.
I remember there was a time when we used to tape All My Children, One Life to Live, Rap City. We all watched the Cosbys together. Like that when college, Cosby, and remember when the Simpsons went up against the Cosbys? And then you had man.
I didn't know that was a head to head.
Lisa Cooper, did you ever come to Tyrone and Amiri's room when they used to have them? Man, these dudes used to have these Cosby parties.
Like where you would watch the show?
Everybody came over. We did that same thing at the Sigma House for
Did y'all watch it or it was just on in the background? And
y'all was kicking it was like silence.
Are you serious?
Like we sat around, watched, cracked up, we laughed. We was the best. The best. Like it was good old we watched the Cosby Show, then they had Family Ties. We didn't watch that. We watched I think Living Color came on. Something came on Fox after that. Then it became a different world. It's a different world than where you're coming from. I like the first one. Here's our chance to make it. If we make it. Oh, anyway, let me stop. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. When did y'all start watching the Cosby Show?
Ooh.
I watched the Cosby Show from the first episode.
What?
Oh, yeah. Lisa said they did. During the Cosby Show, like if you lived in a dorm, it was like we were the minority in every dorm except FAR. And PAR because they put the Negroes far.
But y'all only had like one TV in the dormitory?
They had the downstairs TV, big screen TV. That, was in the lounge, the student lounge. And if let me tell you,
what a difference in time.
Look,
I can't imagine sitting and watching like
really. Like everybody
has their own like devices. Like that's interesting. It's like communal TV watching, huh?
Yeah, we all would come down and they would play cards and spades and bid and all that. Mm-hmm. But and it would be the community room though would be shared by white people, right? Like it was the dorm was, but like I bet you in every dorm on the campus, if a white person even looked at the TV on Thursday, like the white people knew, don't even just walk past the lounge on Thursdays. Just walk past. Don't even ain't no what's old girl, what's the white girl who was on there the first year? Marissa Tomei. Keep on moving.
So y'all used to watch it live, like it was like an event.
TV, but you there was no DVR, so you had to watch it live, or you got to but nobody wanted to see the videotape of the Cosbys. It was like that was a Thursday, that was your Thursday night, like, and then after Cosby and after TV, then the weekend started on Thursday in college.
Interesting.
Here's our chance. My sister lived in the black people dorm. I, however, lived in the Asian dorm. It smelled terrible. Oh, FAR, like they put all the black people at the furthest dorm away from campus. Tennille learned how to be black at FAR. I'm sorry, she learned how to play cards. You know, we weren't allowed to play cards, right?
That's life skills she learned, though.
Uh-huh.
She learned how to talk smack with it.
She sure did. She sure did. All right, y'all. It is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. We're going to have to pull out them video. I'm going to have to find the VCR. And then we're going to have to do well, you know what? Maybe I don't, because I remember we tried that. We had some people that was here that they wanted to play videotapes of their. Remember, I don't want to be like, well, remember we were great. I don't want those. I want to be like, I want to see all them videos. Like you remember when the videos would come on BET and you had to wait for it to come back? Does anybody remember Sherry?
Sherry.
And Ananda.
I remember Ananda.
And let's see, Sherry, Ananda. Remember Idalis?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, Idalis was the beginning of the Black Latino thing. Chicks that favor Idalis. Oh, anyway, that's all right, y'all gonna learn one day. Well, did you watch Teen Summit?
Yes, that was a really good show.
I remember we brought Teen Summit. We had the live Teen Summit here in Chicago, and Ananda came. Boy, you couldn't tell us nothing. Ananda was the original Ashanti. She was, man. I bet you. I wonder where Ananda is now. But Ananda was the original Ashanti. She had that hair, you know, that wet. Ananda,
that wet wavy.
She was like, okay, so it was Chili, Ananda, and then Ashanti. They was like
Ashanti wasn't even out then.
She was the evolution. So it started with Ananda. Wait, no, it started with Chili, then Ananda, then Ashanti. Yeah, I'm saying. I'm serious. Why you looking like that? Y'all know what I'm talking about too. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That wet curly, wet curly.
Ashanti don't even always have the wet and wavy look.
Not anymore. But I'm saying she could pull it.
That's so funny.
You know,
just like Ashanti.
Hey man, Ashanti is killing Instagram. She is really. I feel like Ashanti has aged properly. Right, like she don't be doing. She like Auntie too. Her and Tracy Ellis Ross remind me of each other, sort of.
Ashanti has realized that
she has a market.
Thank you.
Ashanti is conquering the market. So I feel like there's a 40 to 55 market. Like I feel like this is really the time for. Like how my parents were about the Temptations, that's how we are about like Murder Inc. and no, but seriously. And I feel like this is everybody is coming on a 25 and 30 year album of the greatest era ever. And I think when you look back at that, see,
I just need a little back support.
When you look at that era though, Joe, like we had the best The best musical era came in the late 90s, early 2000s. What you got? What y'all? Lil Whoppy? Lil Webby?
No.
Lil Killy?
I mean, I actually prefer historical foundations of black music. I would say that the best era was probably after gospel morphed into
So you be at the crib listening to
sometimes.
Swing Low.
Sometimes I like a little gospel.
I do too. James Cleveland though. I need some.
I actually like the blues.
Down Home Blue.
Yep.
Down Home Blue. I used to hate that. Actually, I do now too.
I like that song.
All she wanted to hear was some Down Home Blue. I like My Last $2. I love. That's one of my favorite karaoke songs. Because the people that sing,
I call that old people drinking music.
I could see that.
I listen to plenty of those songs in somebody's yard.
I used to hate I used to hate when the blues would come on. That was in the Sinner days before we was. But all right. It's a long story. I won't talk about it. Hey y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl Ruthie Moore. Y'all don't forget I'm leaving here at 8:30 today. So what am I doing? Am I heating my sandwich up and then putting it in the hot bag? I need some help. All right.
Eat it cold like it's a cold cut, man.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
I was thinking bust it out and just be like a cold chicken salad.
No, you know what you could tell them? Due to dietary restrictions, I have to heat this up. And they'll let you.
No, they won't.
If you say the word dietary restrictions, they'll let you. And they can't even ask you what it is because it's against the law.
I feel like their microwave might be dirty anyway. You know how you be at people places and you be like, whoa. You can't clean that. Just buy another. Just buy another one. All right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I titled this segment, Damn, Joe! And it has a double entendre. Joe Biden. Did anybody watch the marathon press conference yesterday? There was so many things that stood out to me. I missed the black part, so I'm going to have to go back and check that out. But Ruthie, something about old Joe in my mind ain't right. Not in my mind, maybe his mind, but somewhere in the world, something just ain't right. You look at Joe, I think he's a little disturbed that he took this job. It sounded good in the beginning, but y'all are literally wearing me out. Look at him. Just if you take a look at him, you can see him. You got me? Yeah, I'll be ready in a second. So, Ruthie, but this question yesterday I really feel like it was a defining moment that set the stage for everything. And so I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. This is the Maze Jackson Show. This is a clip yesterday of Joe Biden when they asked him. Matter of fact, I'm going to just play it. All right, y'all bear with me as we play the clip. Bam.
Disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea. Yes, sir.
Yo, President of the United States. Let me do it one more time for y'all. One more again, because I guess for me, I just be thinking was Vladimir Putin was doing jumping jacks and push-ups like I'm finna take dude.
49% of registered voters
49.
disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea. Yes, sir.
That does not instill confidence in me. When we come back, I'm going to ask the question, the social media question of the day. Not the social media question of the day. We already did that. Is Joe Biden mentally fit? Guys, we'll talk about it when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Join Mickey, Elsa, Woody, and more at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing January 20 to 23rd and February 3rd to 6th at Allstate Arena. Free parking with ticket purchase.
And now, traffic and weather.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media family? The time is now 7:35 a.m. and I'm Reese the Ruler with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather report. In sports, the Chicago Bulls in need of a big win last night, playing against division and conference rivals Cleveland Cavaliers. DeMar DeRozan understood the assignment as he drops 30 and the Bulls win 117-104. C-Red. Over the traffic on the Kennedy, accident inbound, so O'Hare to the Loop will be 41 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 16. On the Eden's also an accident, slowing everything down. So inbound from Deerfield to the Exchange is now 45 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 28. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop will be 43 minutes, 28 minutes back out to Thorndale. On the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan will be 42 minutes, 31 minutes outbound. The Bishop Ford is 42 minutes from I-80 to the Dan Ryan and 27 minutes to I-80. Or the Dan Ryan is 21 minutes to the Loop and 13 minutes to 95th. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, 55th to Jackson, Jackson to 55th will be 8 minutes. Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph on the north side will be 9. Today's weather is currently 10 degrees and sunny. Today will only be a high of 18 and a low of 9. I'm Reese the Ruler. Now back to the Maze Jackson Show.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things, what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy?
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, in the building. Gotta say, big shout out to our man, Salim Muwakil, on his 75th birthday. January babies, man. January till the world blow up. The best. I'm the best. We the best.
This man, he's about to say, I'm the best January.
We the best. I'm the best January baby. And at Wiftable, right now. Currently. When your birthday?
February.
See? When your birthday?
March.
Okay, there it is. So I'm the best January Wiftable. What's in it for the black people? Radio host.
Oh, okay, radio host. Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, radio host. See? Oh, well, Dag Slim is radio too. All right. Social media.
You the best, man.
Thank
you.
We the best.
You the best, man.
It's the Maze Jackson Show.
See, Ruthie, it worked both ways. See that participation?
No, it's not both ways, actually.
Reese, please.
You see how he
don't get
was?
us
You see
started.
how he was at first? He was like, wait.
Well, it's not a participation
No,
trophy.
that's
I'm clear. If I get a participation trophy, it's participation in completing the work.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Oh.
There you go.
Reese, we talk about it at 8:30.
Yeah.
When he leave.
Right. Because they don't want nobody to ask no real questions.
When he leave, we'll be talking again.
All right, we talk about Joe Biden. Let's check this out. I got another clip, Ruthie, that I want to play, and then I want to ask you, is Joe Biden competent? Let's go. Reese, you got me? Ready, and go.
Never seen sanctions like the ones because he's never seen sanctions like the ones I promised will be imposed if he moves, number one. Number two, we're in a situation where Vladimir Putin is about to, we've had very frank discussions, Vladimir Putin and I, and the idea that NATO is not going to be united, I don't buy. I've spoken to every major NATO leader. We've had the NATO-Russian summit. We've had the OSCE has met, et cetera. And so I think what you're going to see is that Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion. And
pay attention here. This way he give up. This is his senior moment. Because they is like, look, we don't want to go to war with Russia. So if they just, put it in a little bit, we ain't going to be mad. Now, if they go all the way in, we're going to have a problem. But here we go with Joe Biden. Just listen to him. Because this just basically told Vladimir Putin, go ahead and attack Ukraine. Not that we really care about Ukraine. Why do we care about Ukraine? I'll ask you about that in a minute, Ruthie.
It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera. But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine, and that our allies and partners are ready to impose severe cost and significant harm on Russia and the Russian economy. And, we're going to fortify our NATO allies. I told him on the eastern flank, if in fact he does invade, I've already shipped over $600 million worth of sophisticated equipment, defensive equipment, to the Ukrainians. The cost of going into Ukraine in terms of physical loss of life for the Russians, they'll be able to prevail over time, but it's going to be heavy. It's going to be real. It's going to be consequential. In addition to that, Putin has a stark choice. He either de-escalation or diplomacy, a confrontation of the consequences.
You think he's nervous about that?
I think you're going to see, for example, everybody talks about how Russia has control over the energy supply that Europe absorbs. Well, guess what? That money that they earn from that makes about 45% of their economy. I don't see that as a one-way street. They go ahead and cut it off. It's like my mother used to say, you're biting your nose off to spite your face. It's not like they have all these wonderful choices out there. I spoke with
Ruthie, you looking at Uncle Joe. Let me ask you. You think Vladimir Putin is nervous at all about old Joe? I feel like
no.
I'm nervous, y'all.
I think America is
It's over.
We appear to be kind of, weak a little bit, just, based on the imagery. Now, don't get it twisted, though. I think President Biden did move the, some weapons where they needed to go. What do you call it? Military hardware.
Okay. Open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Do you think Joe Biden is mentally fit? Do you think that he could protect our country? Or do you think that there is someone behind the scenes driving him? Well, obviously we know it is. But again, it seems as though we're at the weakest point in our... I don't know that Joe Biden as that stops Russia from doing anything. Is Joe Biden mentally fit to be the president of the United States? I think it's crazy that 49% of and this is political, so it's funny. I saw Todd on the broadcast saying, whose poll? What was it? Well, it wasn't a Fox poll. It was a Politico poll, and we all know that Politico is left-leaning. Right? So we know that they are part of the infrastructure in place to protect Democrats or to protect the left. It ain't like Politico is like it. I could see if it was a Fox News poll, or a Newsmax poll, but this is a legitimate source that would be on his side. And the fact that people openly are expressing this, and the fact that they would openly ask this question in a White House press conference, it's concerning to me.
You feel like it should be off limits?
You know how you feel about when we talk about sometimes the things that we talk about on the show, and you feel like, man, I don't really want to be exposing my weaknesses to the masses. It's like when you got old Vladimir, who just released his new clothing line, who releases videos of him riding horses, boxing, doing judo. I feel like Joe Biden gave him more confidence in. Like, I just feel like he feels like if that's who y'all got, we could take y'all. And I don't know that Joe Biden, I think even at his capacity, then a lot of us feel like maybe he's not running the White House for real. And we know it ain't Kamala. So who's the president? Now, it's funny, they say, did they ask Ronald Reagan the question? I think, no, they didn't ask Ronald Reagan the question. And we saw that for the last 4 years, he was a senile president doing senile stuff. And so I'm not suggesting that it's not the way that things go, but who are the people that we have now then elected to run our country?
It's really the divisiveness. I think at some point people used to, well, I don't know, because my earliest memory of being able to like distinguish between like partisan politics really kind of started with like Bush and Obama. So my frame of reference only kind of go back that far from like what I personally witnessed. But
baby. Actually, though, I don't feel like the politics. Like, I feel like there was a time. You might be right. I think it was Karl Rove. It was Karl Rove and it was Newt Gingrich. Right? But before that, I do feel like everybody was on the same team.
Exactly.
Like, now I don't feel like everybody's on the same team.
Well, from a national security standpoint, like even if America got like, we got our internal problems when it comes to national security, that used to be the thing that we could all agree on, is that, okay, we got the weapons and we make the rules. But it's kind of like, now it's like everybody can't agree. It's kind of like we're trying to tear the country apart. Like, really.
I think it goes to, though, a lack of civics. a lack of understanding how it works. And I feel as though, Ruthie, you know how we talked about the Pledge of Allegiance a while back, and I understand. I feel like we have gotten to a place where we feel like there are people in our country who feel like we're a bad country and would actually burn it down.
Yes.
And so, I guess to me, when you say that, give me an example of the alternative that works.
I think people would. So people probably feel like America is like. I'm just using, this is not literal, but around you, you feel like America is burning, like the country, and so you like, well, let me do a control burn around my property, so at least when it get to me, it ain't gonna. We'll have time to escape or scorch. So I think if people don't feel like people feel like the fabric of what America is known to be is like really changing, and you got the white people storming the Capitol, fighting for what they deem to be like their birthrights. Like you got the Latinos trying to increase their numbers to take power, and then you got the black people being like, "What about us? Yeah, what about us? What about us?" And so, from a national security standpoint, I think that has been the one area that from like a national level that people could kind of all agree on and get behind, like that. I call it that 9/11 energy, where everybody was like, yeah, America, national security. And so you think like, so some people look at illegal immigration as a national security issue, right? So so you got like more so like Republicans are like, this is a national security issue. And then you got the Democrats say like, this is a human rights issue. So it's kind of like, where do you go? Because those two different mindsets have different responses. Because if something is a national security issue versus a human rights issue, then your legislation and your response is going to be different to those two things. But there's like clear lines that have been drawn for some of these hot button issues. So I mean, you could ask somebody like, do you see illegal immigration as a national security issue or a human rights issue? And I know they're like, oh, you can't sum it up that way, but literally like, that's kind of how I see America. It's like you got the same problem, but like two totally different approaches and vantage points. And you kind of got to choose a side. It ain't no middle no more with some of these things.
Yeah, and those where you fall on that really determines where you're at, which is why I think our litmus test question has to be, where do you stand on the rights of undocumented immigrants to vote in municipal elections? Because it is a threat to our black security. Mm-hmm. The answer to that question is a threat to black security. Real talk. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Ruthie? So give us a call, 872-259-7474. Nothing. Joe Biden. So I'm just curious, though. So do you think Joe is fit or no?
I think he's fit. Based on, let me tell you what it's based on. I think he's fit based on his knowledge of the interworkings of politics,
but he can't remember,
and the American government. So I think he's fit in that regard. Now, is he fit to be the face, to be paraded around and to appear to be strong? No, we're failing in the imagery area. But I think Joe Biden got the knowledge and the wisdom.
Joe Biden is, to me, the example of the gerontocracy that runs our country. Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, I was going to say Trent Lott, but not Trent Lott. What's his name? Mitch McConnell. They are all part of the gerontocracy. And I think that I feel like Democrats have done a poor job of adapting. The gerontocracy in the Democratic Party has not done a very good job of adapting to the times. I do believe that the Republicans have. In that, the Republicans are going with the flow, right? The flow now is nationalism. We all nationalists. We all Trumpocrats, and if we ain't gonna say nothing. I think the Democrats are still anchored in these old story times that they try to tell, in these old same like Jim Clyburn and telling us we need water and voting rights acts, hoping that these are going to be the stunts that get us motivated.
That's what they know.
Gerontocracy. They have not adapted to the new existing. Think about this. Even the Republicans, even the Republicans in Illinois tried to adapt to ADOS when they put the slave in Richard Irvin's commercial. They was like, "Did y'all say slaves? We'll show you slaves. We'll show you descendants of slaves."
What did that casting ad look like? I'm just playing.
Ruthie, they said, let me tell you what the casting ad said. Are you down so bad?
Oh.
Are you down so bad? We got a job for you. What you say? How you say it, Ruthie? We be down so bad what?
We be down so bad.
Are you down so bad? Well, we've got the role for you. For $250 a day, you too can play a slave. Plus, you get lunch on the set. You get your own free. But I mean, I guess the ad looks.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Thank you, Ruthie.
Because
I thought about this, but
because y'all ain't think slavery was that bad neither.
Terrible, man.
No, it wasn't. It was all right.
So,
all I saw was old girl being like, "Now, baby, did you miss my story yesterday? Now, baby, tonight Mr. Charlie is gonna come knocking on the door. Now, you may hear me screaming, you may hear me saying something, but I want you to run. You just run away, and don't you listen. And you come on back, and Mama gonna be okay." And he ran through the trees, and he saw the hanging trees, and then he came back with his fresh white shirt. Yeah,
I mean, that's his life story.
Thank you, Ruthie. That's where he come from, man. That's all he's just trying to say.
So, is it okay for the white guy to write that and
that's
cast
his story?
I mean,
the white.
Okay. You might as well say it. Man, go ahead and
do
tell
you understand? So I'm just telling you.
It reminds
Millennials.
them. It reminds them back of a time.
Millennials.
No,
you know something I realized when it comes to black men political candidates, for the most part, they always gonna be like, I don't want to use the word paternalistic, but it's always gonna be about self, like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, etc. Like, for the most part, that's what I noticed.
Well, I don't feel like it's self. I feel like
it's like do for self. I overcame this.
Well, I feel like
it's like the dude who owned the McDonald's is.
But I do feel like
it's like a Willie Wilson.
We coddle. I mean, I don't know.
But it seemed like y'all.
Ruthie, I mean, I'm gonna tell you.
That's how if y'all want to be involved in politics and y'all want to go Republican, then it is a certain narrative that you're gonna have to push.
But if you want to be a Democrat, you gotta be
exactly
LGBTQ pro.
100. I'm with you.
You gotta say that you for undocumented immigrants, and you gotta say,
right, I'm with you.
So if I take the choice, I would take. I don't know that I'm still telling y'all. Let me just tell you, I am not. Like, if this gonna be a slavery scene, I'm writing it. And it's gonna be an evil white man. Come on, boy. Whoosh. And I took it.
But you know what though? Okay, so think about how old he is. His history, he can probably only really take it back to
he took it back in the commercial to his slave.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he ain't even that far removed. We ain't even that far removed from slavery, and that's what he was trying to convey.
And we like it.
No, it's not that we like it. It kind of reminds me of somebody using their same life story. Like, my parents were immigrants who did this and that, and they showed a little boat, show Ellis Island or something. So it kind of puts me in the mind of that same imagery. You know how they you got to have a story about how you overcame and got us out the mud.
Okay, somebody said when we take this position, we shame the slave. So guys,
you don't have no problem with my history.
Look at Felicia said.
Yeah, that's what I think it is, man. I don't know what it is. I think that like millennials understand. I think that the generation before is like it's real, But sometimes I really think they be harvesting on it. That man was just telling his story. Like, so what part of his story is he supposed to tell? Because his father wasn't there, so he had to go with his grandfather. What story is he's going to tell but his story?
I think he's going to tell the story that makes white people feel good enough to be like, yeah.
But how else can a black man in the Republican Party get the support without having to make white people feel comfortable about their history?
Once again, I think somebody called me yesterday and said, Maze, I'm confused. I don't know where you're at on this. And I'm saying that's just it. It's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't. Part of my challenge is that I don't like the white component of people being like, yes, let's do it. Right? It goes back to who were the black people in the room when this happened. And I don't want to minimize Richard Irvin's intelligence, and I don't want to minimize the fact that what you said, a brother to be... Remember I told you when I went to the Republican stuff and you got to sit there and you got to be like, yo, Joe, that commercial is an example of that, right? Where it's like, ADOS, and I don't want to shame the slave, so I'm going to take that. I don't like it being used to glorify, like,
how else can he present himself as a get it out the mud type of person?
I think he could have started with I'm from the projects of Aurora.
Because he got to take it back further than that, because
I'm born of a single parent mom, Section 8.
He wanted it out the cotton field, Maze. Okay. So he got to play it up.
Okay.
Dance. You know what it reminds me of Willie Wilson telling his story about how he came from the cotton fields.
Willie Wilson told and for me, Willie Wilson telling his story is a lot. If the screenplay was written by Alex Haley and directed by Nzinga Stewart, I'm all good with it.
I'm with you.
If in that telling of the story, the black people said, okay, we have to authenticize and there's legitimate. But if that story was written, if that spot was written by white boys, directed by white boys, casted by white boys, and nowhere in the space do we get any benefit of the slavery narrative at all. Like, they still get to profit off of our pain and suffering. And that is, like, the writer, director, now I'm telling you, if the firm that did that spot ain't got no black people, ain't got no, right? If there was nobody black consulted on, now I'm not saying Richard, and again, Ruthie, if it's Maze Jackson, I'm going to say, okay, if I'm going to do this, you got to call Spike. You got to call Spike.
Okay. I'm with you. Y'all
got all the money in the world, call Spike Lee. Legit. Don't have me out here bogus. Just don't.
So it's not the story. So now I'm confused. So now if Spike Lee did it, if Spike Lee had you out there looking like slaves, then it's okay for him to tell the story then, huh?
No, not me. No, not me. But I would. No. First of all, I'm not going. And I could tell my story and be appealing to that space without having to do the cotton picking nigga story. I could have done that. I know there is enough about Richard Irvin that gives him Republican bona fides. If you're willing to say all lives matter, if you're willing to say back the blue, you can get all of that without the 16-second cotton picking nigga story. That's me.
But I guess part of it is that why should he be ashamed of his history? Particularly because he feel like his people overcame. Like, that's the whole little I overcame narrative Ruthie, that the Republicans need.
I'll give it to you. But I still feel like you have to be sensitive with our history. And I feel like when you can't just manipulate our
romanticize it.
Right. And it's like I could like
I'm with you.
Y'all mean to tell me that nobody in the space, we don't have any expectations of our own self with our history. You think that the Jewish people that do the Holocaust commercial that said, you think they ain't got somebody in that mix that's like, yo, we got to make sure we straighten this? Like, we don't even get the benefit off of our pain and suffering.
I don't even know if I've seen a Holocaust political commercial.
Bingo! It's the Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back. We'll pimp our shit out.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Join Mickey, Elsa, Woody, and more at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing January 20 to 23rd and February 3rd to 6th at Allstate Arena. Free parking with ticket purchase.
Today, the Biden administration is releasing what it calls a new strategy to fight domestic terrorism. Following a 100-day review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic terror.
They went to the Capitol waving their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through the Capitol window, breaching security, and called a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater, but she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history, all because they didn't get a victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gonna tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed to certain rights we are not granted. The media is the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narratives. Terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know what we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. We still out here trying to get our reparations, but the government pump faking out here hesitating. I'm out here trying to keep my peace, so I keep meditating. The media make us look bad, they taint our reputation. Look, it's so sad that COVID causing toe tags. You claim you so patriotic, but you ain't wearing no mask. You out here wilding with your MAGA flags and showing your ass. You wanna be part of some type of revolution so bad. Look, you talk revolution and constitutional rights, homie. I guess we forgot about back in the days when all of the business was whites only. Yeah. George Floyd got justice. Juneteenth got much respect. They made it a national holiday. Man, it's all good, but cut the check. They're giving out all of these vaccines, putting it in you like caffeine. Was it all in the part of the plan? I bet money like DraftKings. It's land of the free, home of the brave. 1776, we wasn't free till 1865, so we wasn't part of that shit. And that there's terrorism.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show in the morning. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Todd Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happening in town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to send it. We need some different players in the game to handle business. So many shady characters like Madigan and Blotto. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA gets spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steel on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let this give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And up the seal carry, I stay with the pipe. For Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my girl, Ruthie Moore, DJ Reese, the ruler. Stay tuned at 8:30 or 8:50. I'm not sure what time I'm going to leave. It's the Ruthie Moore and Reese show. It's where they take over the comments, and we let the millennials have their say. I think they said they're going to talk today about our millennials hard-headed.
No, we might switch it up.
I know, because I
don't feel like hearing y'all mouth in the comments.
Oh, you going to hear it in the comments. No, just turn them off. Just turn the phone sideways, then you ain't got to see them. You just then go back and read them later. All right, y'all. I got something else I want to talk. Do we have any calls? No calls? All right, cool. Real quick, did you all see, first of all, did you see Lori Lightfoot yesterday was on the road? She did not take the full 10 days. She took 5 days. She said Dr. Arwady told her that she was all good to travel.
Listen, she just following the CDC recommendation.
No, she following her own rules because she got her own personal. So even the CDC said, though, that if you have had COVID, you should not travel within 10 days. She was leaving in 6 and headed to the conference, U.S. Conference of Mayors, where she said that her doctor told her that she was all good. So I guess they got a different science than the CDC.
Kind of science.
Okay. Ruthie, but as I was watching Joe Biden yesterday, it dawned on me that as I was watching him respond to the media, that he had very Lori Lightfoot-like tendencies. Then I saw Lori Lightfoot doing press conferences because yesterday was the National Conference of Mayors in the National Conference of Mayors. That's why she left, because, you know, the mayor ain't missing no national nothing. And it got me to asking this question. Is Mayor Lori Lightfoot now the nation's mayor? And I want you to think about this. Don't, before you be like, man, if you're not Chicago's, but is she the nation's mayor? Now, what I would tell you is that I feel like her and Joe Biden have developed this uncomfortable alliance that was formed during the campaign when Joe Biden needed mayors around the country. And there were 4 of them, really. It was the mayor of Washington, D.C., it was Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, it was the mayor in San Francisco. Oh, and then there was Mayor Lori Lightfoot. There was also the black woman mayor in
that's like 3 black
Louisiana.
women, right?
So it was DC, Atlanta, San Francisco, New Orleans, Chicago. If you recall, during the George Floyd, there was this big thing about the black women mayors, and they was, remember they was taking photo shoots, and they was like, we talking, it was like a sister girl thing. Mm-hmm. Remember the black mayor painted in DC, painted the Black Lives Matter, turned the street in the Black Lives Matter way. And slowly but surely, all of them have either fallen out of the national scene or have realized that that just ain't the way to go. Except for Mayor Lori Lightfoot. You don't see Joe Biden teamed up with anybody, but I think that as people have recognized the weakness of Joe Biden as the as the president, they've settled into trying to take care of their business using the money, but not being in the national spotlight. Whereas Mayor Lori Lightfoot has done more national news appearances than local appearances, right? I told you when I turned on Meet the Press and she was opening up, and then you saw White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying that White House press spokesman Jen Psaki saying that we are in close contact with Chicago all the time. And remember this teacher strike, or the potential teacher strike, the White House weighed in. Is now clear that the White House weighed in and told them we can't afford this right now with the Trump people surging, which is part of the reason that they kind of folded. And I feel like as Chicago goes, Joe Biden and the country have inextricably linked themselves to Lori Lightfoot. Really, and I feel like they are each other's crutch. I.e., Joe Biden, as he's becoming less and less popular, is becoming crotchety old man and trying to expand his relationship with his friends. But he doesn't have a lot of friends because he's polling terribly, and nobody really wants to stand up there with them. But you've got Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who is probably at this point despised in our city. Did you see Joe Ferguson's report on Anjanette Young and the fact that the mayor had essentially lied throughout the whole process? We caught her in the lies, but then they even said that, part of the reason that they had they refused to give the mayor's answer to why they refused to give up the tape initially was because it would affect an ongoing investigation. There was no investigation. They didn't open up the investigation on Anjanette Young until after the CBS requirement.
Oh, wow.
After the CBS request. And so my question is Lori Lightfoot positioned as the nation's mayor? Strong prosecutor, right? Because right now, look at the mayor in New York, right? You need a tough on crime black man, who can look in the camera, who's gonna take no stuff. And it's like I saw Joe Biden doing the same stuff, right? Like they got these reputations that their record just doesn't match. It's like they can talk tough to the reporters. And it's like, I would tell you that if you weren't from Chicago and you watch Lori Lightfoot on the news, you'd be like, boy, that woman's got it going on. But if you live in Chicago, you'd be like, right?
What's going on?
Right. She don't know nothing that's going on. But I got to ask you, do you think Lori Lightfoot has taken the place of the nation's mayor? Now, remember, it used to be Keisha Lance Bottoms. Keisha Lance Bottoms used to come on TV, and brothers used to be like, hey, Keisha. That's my mayor. Not me. But people would be like, that's right. Because, Atlanta got
she was like the hip-hop mayor.
She was Atlanta. She did the Freaknik. She had the Anita Baker. She went to the Anita Baker, Halle Berry. She got the,
Lori Lightfoot, I don't think Lori Lightfoot has been that ingratiated into the culture as Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Right. I feel like Lori Lightfoot, though, has been ingratiated in the white male power structure. Right? She gives them yeah, she Okay, I see you, Chantel. Yes, Keisha Lance Bottoms is a Delta. But do you? I really feel like I feel like it's like the emperor who has no clothes. Both Lori Lightfoot and Joe Biden are like inextricably linked, and I think the way Lori Lightfoot is going is the same way Joe Biden is going. It's like she be acting like she got everything in control, but everybody be like, no, it's not.
But hold on, but ain't that the whole like Democratic Party right now though?
Yeah, but I don't feel like the whole Democratic Party has the national, like they're not pushed all out to the national space. I feel like Lori Lightfoot is courting a national presence because she know her time is up. She got 1 year left.
But, I think Chicago is a world-class city that the nation does look to, like, for two different reasons. On one hand, you got the people like, you see what happened to them liberal cities? They, look at the liberal cities with these liberal mayors and blah, blah, blah. They're failing. So that's one reason why I think it's in the national spotlight. But then on the other hand, I think you have the Democratic Party like, hey, look at Chicago's a world-class city. Like, they both using the same data to manipulate us.
I would argue that they are looking at, there's the left. I think to the Republicans, they're saying, look at that left city. I think to Democrats and to moderates and middle America, they're trying to portray Lori Lightfoot as the tough on crime black woman who is willing to look in, like the same. Lori Lightfoot is a male version of dude in New York, Eric Adams,
the black dude.
Yes, right. Tough on crime, not scared to be all in your face and tell. And it's like they like that, and they like the in your face black woman as long as she know whose face to get into. See, they need black people who can lecture black people. They need black people who can wave their finger and put it in. What's up, Reese? What you want to say?
They need the less offensive black people.
Look, Reese over here shameless. Reese over here shameless plugging. Speaking of that, JB Pritzker will be today at Sip and Savor announcing more grants to give away. Is he granting any cannabis? Is he granting any sports betting? Shout out to. Hey man, I don't want to. Anyway, let's go to the live line. It's the Maze Jackson Show. Caller, is Lori Lightfoot the new nation's mayor?
Good morning.
Hey, Katie.
Yes, I guess you could say that. Hi, good morning. Yes, I guess you can say that. It was just funny to me how she got up real fast and realized that she had to go to, I don't know when she knew that she had to go to that mayor's conference in Washington, and how she recovered really quickly. That was really funny to me. But yeah, she had to be in Washington. And maybe the people are not reading our headlines because, I came in late this morning. I had to sleep late because, I got so mad at all these killers in Chicago. But anyway, if people read our headlines with what they had yesterday with the Sun-Times and how they just really, to me, embarrassed the black superintendent. They would realize what's going on in Chicago, get a better picture. But yeah, I guess we could say that she's the mayor of the nation.
Okay, I think so. I really do.
I can see that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Katie, for calling. Don't be going sleeping late on us, neither. All right, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Do you think that the mayor, is that it, Reese? I really do feel like Lori Lightfoot is the nation's mayor. Yes, she is. And y'all black women y'all gonna talk about protect black women and skip Anjanette Young. I think it's so outlandish to me that we did all of that for what's my girl in Kentucky. Police busted in and shot and warrant, no knock warrant.
Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor? Okay.
I think it's crazy to me how Breonna Taylor was a national. Now, maybe because you gotta die. Lori Lightfoot, she gonna be the nation's mayor. Right? And then if she's unelected, she going straight to Washington, D.C., where Joe Biden would welcome her into the administration for all of this.
I mean, they
stuff
gonna
that
hook
she's
her
doing.
up because she represents everything that the Democratic Party needs to sustain itself.
Right. Tough talking black people who gonna whoop on black people.
With a pro LGBTQ plus agenda.
Woo!
And I think that's why Lori Lightfoot will ascend very far, because she check all the boxes for them being like, see, we ain't racist.
And I bet you she'll put slaves in her commercial too.
Probably maybe in reference to some of her family lineage. But
right,
I bet
she'll probably be an LGBT family member that was.
But I bet you it's going to, most of them slave stories though be about overcoming. Like it's always overcoming something.
Right. Slavery
You ain't gonna
is
see
no
no slave
excuse.
story like, hey, I was just like, give me some reparations. That's the type of slave story.
She gonna
I'm
be
trying
like,
to
that's it. She gonna be like, that's so you don't even have to talk about reparations. I overcame it. You overcame it. Yeah,
I
I'm
can
just
do
telling
it. You can do it.
So, Lori Lightfoot, national mayor, thumbs up or thumbs down? Yes or no?
Thumbs down, base. You know how much crime we got? What everybody keeps talking about? Crime.
Lori Lightfoot said that it is offensive that the gubernatorial candidates would even talk about crime as an issue in their campaign. She was saying that in response to Richard Irvin saying that crime in Chicago, there were over 800 homicides in Chicago, and that as the governor, he would send out the National Guard.
Oh.
And she said that it is a travesty that they would even consider using crime as a campaign tactic, which I think is hilarious because I think crime is the number one issue.
Crime is the campaign topic.
Right. That and the more and more. But what's so funny, Ruthie? You know what the funniest part of this whole thing is? She got to be careful what she say, because remember, Ken Griffin is back in Mayor Irvin, who is also a member of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, but she can't go too hard against.
Sure is.
Right, but and the second largest city in in Illinois. But here's what's crazy: she can't talk too much smack. You know why? Because Ken Griffin gave her $25 million for the Penguins.
Oh, he sure did.
See,
that money gone though.
It don't make no difference.
He probably, and then he got his bike path though, right?
That was different. $25 million. That was the wrong.
That was all in. That was
no.
That was the same.
No, Ruthie, that was wrong. Google
same. Like I know it was wrong, but I think Lori was still like. Didn't it get built under Lori? Like the actual construction of it came through with Lori. No,
that's a whole separate deal.
Okay.
So Ken Griffin was riding his bike. He almost got hit when he was merging. So he called Rahm up and said, "I'm giving you $25 million. Finish up this bike path so I don't have it." He did that. That was one thing. Then when the pandemic hit and Lori was the mayor, right? When we was all stuck inside, he gave her $25 million to do commercials with the Ducks. With the Penguins. Remember? And everybody thought how cute.
It was.
Todd, don't be trying to comment now. You ain't came in. Now Todd want to be an active member of the Lions Den. You see how people be doing you? Todd ain't been here in no days. Now he want to be commenting on his day off.
New year, new Todd, man. He trying to get his life together. Right, I see.
Right. The alphas always backing each other. Did he find out his cross day?
Baby steps.
That man. He a legend. He a legend, man.
He a legend for not knowing that. He is a legend in Phi Beta Sigma.
Let him call in.
I just show you how made he was. They beat his date out of his mind.
Ty would be like, shoot, they weren't going to touch me. What are you doing with that paddle? I'm not going to take
his
that.
daddy is.
You know my daddy is.
We said the same thing. You know who my daddy is.
You know my daddy will have this hole. His daddy probably came down with the paddle.
That's usually how it be, though.
Tennille said that Mitch McConnell says black people vote just as much as Americans. Wait, we ain't Americans? Well, shoot. Y'all trying to give it up anyway.
Mitch courting us now, or he talking smack? Which one?
Well, I think.
Ain't it hard to tell?
It's hard to
Ain't
tell.
it hard to tell?
It's hard to tell.
If they said it, they're definitely talking about you. Okay, it's just the way they say it.
All right, he said
21
minutes ago.
Can I tell you though that have you ever talked to Democrats? Have you ever talked to white Democrats politically?
The real, when they being real, or when they trying to politicize you?
Well, I think it's always the same. I think they're always trying to politicize you. I was just thinking though, You know, people talk about Mitch McConnell, but I would tell you that white Democrats very rarely listen to black people. Like, as many black people as they be like, great, you're talking, but we have a plan for you, Negro. We thank you for your input on your own destiny, but we've planned it out for you, and this is what you'll do. And we be happy. Ruthie, got a question for you while we're here, because I got to get out of here. I know Reese is trying to get me out the chair so he could do this. Do black people believe that we are equal to white people? And I'm not talking about like yourself.
No.
I'm talking about, do you, if you're in a room with white people and there's black people, do you default to the white people or the black people for knowledge and information on who's right? I was just thinking, I had some really interesting experiences over this week, and I'm about to go have another one.
You have to unlearn it.
Black people, to me, I was just thinking about how many black people I have brought into the game, been in the room with, that if in that same room, after everything I've done, there's a white person in the room, they will 9 times out of 10 try to find a way to agree with the white people or put the white person in the control in the room. Do we actually, not from a bravado standpoint, not from I'll whoop your, but like from the standpoint of, do we actually believe outside of our individual selves that black people are good enough?
No. You have to learn that. It's kind of like if you are a fish in water, you don't even know that you're in water. Like, so I think and I'm only saying this from a youth perspective, because literally you have to unlearn you have to unlearn the tentacles of white supremacy and how that affects your psyche. So even at my age today, in my 30s, it is a conscious effort for like I have to sometimes put forth a conscious effort not to revert back to some of the chains that are on my mind when it comes to black people and white people.
Damn.
That's a tough admission, but it's true. So I have to consciously say, like, no, this black person, no, I'm going to do business with this black person. I'm going to defer to this black person. I'm not going to demean this black person because I feel like they're just as valuable.
It's so funny to me because I watch as black people will step over black people to hang out with white people, even if the black people put them on. And it is just, I am constantly amazed at our willingness to
stair steps. We use each other as stair steps to climb the ladder of white supremacy.
It's so crazy to me, Ruthie. It's like, all right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I got to get out of here.
Really?
Junior said you're going to be saying that for the next hour, so I'm not. I'm about to go heat my sandwich up. I'm going to put it in some foil, and I'm going to eat it hot because I want it to smell. I want to be like, what is that?
Remember the word dietary restrictions.
I'm not putting my sandwich in a nasty microwave. Hey, y'all, this is the Mace Jackson Show. I got to get out of here, but we still got another half hour to go, so stay tuned for the Ruthie Moore and Reese show. They going to do their millennial thing.
And Reese coming on camera because he got a new haircut.
Oh, what chair you sitting in?
But I got to work the phone line.
Oh, he said no. He said
he got to get his phone.
Playing.
He got to get his phone. Reese like, look, man, I done gave my phone. They call on this show. I'm getting me some calls. All right, y'all make sure y'all call them too. Because y'all phone calls do be making me laugh when y'all talk to them. And you know Reese be excited. Reese will stay an extra hour if he got calls. It's the Mace Jackson Show. I'll be back tomorrow, y'all. I'm out of here, though. Peace.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Join Mickey, Elsa, Woody, and more at Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. Playing January 20 to 23rd and February 3rd to 6th at Allstate Arena. Free parking with ticket purchase.
Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't want to work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't want to work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free? Up in the morning with the frown on my face, cause I know it's another day that I gotta face now. For people I don't wanna see, working at a job that I don't wanna be, breaking my back to the bone with nothing to show. But I got dreams and goals, but as soon as I clock in, I'm ready to go. So there's one thing I gotta know: why money ain't free? Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? Give it to me. I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money? Why can't you just give it? Why can't you just give it? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
Working in that 9 to 5, got your girl hella tired. Why won't they let me be? Now I understand why my mama always used to ask, did I think money grew on trees? I got these bills after bills and they just keep coming. Working overtime, but my pockets ain't flooding. Yeah, my funds low. Adult life is gas.
Why money ain't free?
Why it ain't free?
Why can't you just give it?
Why can't they just give it to me?
I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me.
Why money ain't free? Yeah.
Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
How the money ain't free. Every 5 minutes kids bothering me. They seem to think that money grows on trees. Always asking for allowance and clean one thing. I'm sick and tired of my funds being low. Spent the whole bag on the groceries at the store. Got a little something, but I need a little more. And I'm a single mama, you should already know.
Why money ain't free?
Why the money ain't free?
Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it?
Won't you give it to me?
I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me. Why money ain't free?
Why the money ain't free?
Why money ain't free?
Why money ain't free? Yeah, why money ain't free? Yeah. Ooh, I miss your kiss. Oh, your kiss is one of a kind. It feels so nice. Girl, you do it right. I miss.
Wake up world, wake up Chicago. Y'all know Maze still here.
Yeah,
he left Maze left his coat in the studio so he can come back in.
Yeah, we should have left his camera on his chest. You know he gonna come back.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, he just, you know.
And then you know that he gonna say something, you know, so it's loud enough so the mics can pick it up. Hey, look at that. So,
and he got a sandwich wrapped in the foil. He ready.
Hey, get him. Hey, y'all, but send some stars right now so we can get this man made some. So it's just some hand warmers. Get
yes.
Everything.
Send us some stars so we can get made some hand warmers.
Send him off right next week. Get him, man. I'm gonna bring him a thermal. We're gonna make sure that next week he is set to go because he sound like they mistreating him up there. But hey, y'all got now the Ruthie and Reese show. We got y'all. So Ruthie, what we gonna talk about today?
All right, we got 2 really interesting topics. Now, listen, y'all. In these comments, y'all go easy on us because this is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be controversial, y'all. So the two topics me and Reese are interested to get y'all's perspective about are how far back can you trace your lineage, and should we be proud of the slavery that we possibly could find? And the second question is that we might not get to, Reese, depending on how they acting, is are millennials hard-headed? So where you want to start, Reese?
I guess we can go with the lineage. I'm not really, and this really streams from the, obviously the love campaign from Irvin and whatnot, and which is crazy, and which is gonna tie into our millennials hardhead because I guess me and you probably saw it. I don't want to say it was like it was like that's really his history. You know what I'm saying? But like the other generation before us was like, oh man, you marking slavery and stuff like that. But to my knowledge, when I think of black people, and I always tell my kids this, when you read the history books, we really don't even come into slavery. You know what I'm saying? So when you telling history, like to leave out whether you leave that or not, it's still a part of you. And we gotta also understand that when people running, even though they're black or white, we can't just say it's more people voting than just black people. So you have to appeal. But as a black man, I feel like you should know your agenda anyway in office. So that's the reason why. But I mean, like,
you know how I feel like, okay, so I've actually recently started kind of like doing my genealogy and trying to just trace it back as far as I can go. I done found some white people in there. I have found some slavery. And because I kind of grew up around my grandma and I knew my great grandma, which meant that I knew my great aunties and my great uncles, I feel like I had more of a connection to like their parents, which would be my great grandparents. And so I think having that perspective and living in Pembroke, which is like just like a rural farming community, I've always felt a little bit more connected to like rural or quote unquote like country life. So when I see like the image of like in the with Richard Irvin, it didn't make me feel, because I think it was there to elicit feelings, but it didn't make me feel ashamed or anything like that. I just kind of looked at it as that's a part of his history. And I think the thing that keeps us so divided when we think about Democrat and Republican is that they're able to sort of paint narratives to sort of like, it's like they use the same information, but they use it in different ways against us. Whereas the Democratic Party, you looking for your hat, ain't you, Maze? Right there in that chair. Told y'all Maze, y'all know Maze was not ready. He left his hat just so he can come back to make sure that we was on the up and up. Straight up, it's 8:41. Just so y'all see that. But Reese, if Richard Irving, right? And I asked Maze this, and he was just like, But what if a candidate like a Richard Irvin, right, who used the slavery imagery, got it out the mud, were to use that, but then say, this is why I'm entitled to reparations? Like, would we then feel differently about the insertion of slavery into his life story if it equaled reparations for black people versus if I can overcome this, y'all can overcome this, pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
That's good if he would have had that in there and then incorporated like reparations, and then we would have got reparations. How will we look at that? I like that, man. That was a good point. And I keep trying to tell people, like, the moment that we stop bringing up slavery, stop showing slavery, then, like, to me, I believe that's when the white folks be like, okay, well, they forgot about it. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, we keep saying reparations, but once we stop telling our story, that's the reason why the Holocaust is still. Don't they still tell that same story?
100. They never forget. The motto is never forget.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say is like, oh, we can't use our story, our pain, our suffering, while other people are only like they using it, and then they use our own stuff even against us.
Okay, so let me read some of these comments that are coming in. So Martha said, I'm proud to be a part of people who fought their way out of slavery. We built the United States. All right. So Reese, do you have any like elder members of your family that are like conservative, like politically?
No, but
okay.
but the next generation is slowly like I even asked my mother, which was a heavy Democrat, and now like her years, 60 plus years of living, even she's like, I'm really starting to see things a little different now. She was like, she was like, I used to be a Democrat, but she said now and which is crazy because I never forget one year I watched her be hurt as Al Gore lost, and she was like a real heavy Democrat for her to really change now. But yeah, man, I actually knew all my greats. I even knew my great-great-grandma before she passed away. So
okay.
Right.
So Diane said the image from Irvin was that of a sharecropper, which is post-slavery. So yes, it's post-slavery, but it's still a remnant of slavery. And I think Salim kind of summed up the imagery related to slavery when we talked about could Richard Irvin use this for reparations versus pull yourself up? And I think Salim summed it up in a very, academic type of way to say that is slavery as deprivation rather than a noble come up, although it's both. So it's just interesting because I think part of what Black people want is for our history, particularly here in America, not to be forgotten. And so on one hand, I'm like, yes, Richard Irvin, tell our story. But on the other hand, I'm like, whoa, bro, don't try to use it as the pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of story. So I think that's where I'm kind of torn. But, when it comes to lineage and family history, at this point, I do think that it's important because there's so many resources out there for you to trace your lineage and ancestry. But it can get a little costly. Okay, so enough about that. Now let's get to the real topic, Reese. Now, the question on the table is, are millennials hard-headed? Now, that's a general question because we can make it topic-based. Are millennials hard-headed when it comes to listening to career things? Are millennials hard-headed when it comes to intergenerational politics? Are millennials hard-headed when it just comes to listening in general? But on the flip side, I think that there is some good that comes out of millennials being hard-headed because for the most part, for some stuff we don't be going for. And I think that's the good thing that comes out of it is some of the aspects of us not going. But I'm open to hearing different perspectives about why y'all think millennials are hard-headed now. Now, what kind of sparked this conversation was earlier when Maze talked about just generationally and passing the torch. And I kind of made the statement that it makes millennials seem like we're extreme. And so are millennials hard-headed?
I don't think we hard-headed. I just think the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I just think we see stuff like our parents, if my parents work every day and they're still 60 working, it's like pops, the career advice I would take, hey man, don't do this, because I understand that he made some wrong errands, but sometimes they try to guide you or something like that, man. You be you tried this, you done this your way, it didn't work. And then when the generation before us called us hardhead, which is kind of funny because they from the rebel stages, the Black Panthers and all this. And I always tell them, I said, y'all think back to y'all 20s and y'all 30s when y'all wanted to make a change and y'all different. And the same people told y'all the same thing. Man, back in my day, man, you know what I'm saying, man, y'all baby boomers, y'all this, you know what I'm saying, y'all hard head and stuff like that. But it's really not hard head. It's saying, hey man, I believe in myself and I believe that I can get this. You know what I'm saying? This way, that way, you know what I'm saying? This way. So I don't believe that sometimes they take hard-headed as just goal-driven. Hey, you did it your way. It's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? Man, maybe it's 1,001 that we ain't thought of yet. But we like to try stuff to see first. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I don't think we hard-headed. I think we are adventurous. You know what I'm saying? We want to like discover
Good
and
word,
be on
Reese.
our own path. You know what I'm saying? We want to have our own path at the same old soggy path that everybody. But so that's what I think. I don't think we hard-headed. I just think that we have more of an open mind and that we're not afraid to really try stuff. Because if you look at the old shows, like it was get you a job, do this, work hard,
work for
bring
until you
your own,
retire.
You know what I'm saying? Work and now what y'all don't see is we saw that. We saw y'all work all day and then see that, you know what I'm saying, and then see us. We saw y'all work 2, 3, 4 jobs, you
Straight
know,
up,
and
Reese.
barely make rent. You know what I'm saying, man? I watched my OG not eat a couple of days just so I can eat. We saw y'all, so you know, we like, hey, we ain't hard head, but the route you took, no offense, got you there. Maybe it was a bump along the road, but you know, we trying to, you know, do something a little different. That's all. So I don't think we hard head though.
Okay. So to counter that narrative, here's a from TJ. I'm not going to say her name, but why not listen a little when guidance is being provided? We can all learn something from each other.
Facts.
So I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. You know, I think one of the things that millennials do differently is, like you said, Reese, is, and it does seem extreme, but I think the thing that our parents don't really recognize is, like you said, Reese, like, we saw y'all struggling in these different areas. Like, we see y'all struggling in these different areas. So sometimes in order to like break that cycle, it does require like extreme reprogramming of your brain to say like, no, I'm not about to work at the same company for 40 years and then retire and still not be able to live a comfortable life.
You live in the same house you lived a whole 40 years. You done worked at that same job. You still live in the same house. When I believe like millennials take a chance first. You know, they want to do something, and I definitely agree, man. Always take advice. Like I always say, a smart man learn from his mistakes. A wise man learn from the mistakes of others. I'm not saying be ignorant. You know, when someone that obviously has more experience than you. I just wish that sometimes the person that has the most experience has to understand that the other person might have ideals or might have their own way of doing stuff, and it might not be wrong. So to other person, they be like, hey, that person being hard-headed, but he's like, no, I just have a different vision. We all have our different visions.
Good one, Reese. Good one. So Junior Lee said millennials are the first generation that had the cushion to rebel. Would you agree with that?
I can definitely see that.
That's a very interesting comment.
We have more opportunities. You can lose a job, and you know, and this is me looking for jobs early in the 2000s. I used to go to like the mall or like different places and put in apps and stuff like that. Now you can just get you a job just
you know what?
in your bed.
That is a very interesting compliment. And so the only reason why we sometimes do have that cushion to rebel is because the generation, you know what I'm saying, above us. So think about what your cushion is to fail, Reese. Like you have children now, like, so it might be a little bit less, like, but think about your cushion to fail. And I think that's a very interesting, that's highly interesting. All right. So you already know we got to talk solutions. So Tennille said, how is that working out? Basically, all the stuff we talked about. So let's talk solutions. So first, let's talk about some of the negative aspects, Reese, of the hard-headed nature of millennials. You want to take that call first? All right.
We got James.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on? Good morning, Ruthie. This is my take on millennials. Are they rebellious? Yes, which is a good thing because they are definitely, you guys are definitely fearless. But I think a lot of times it's misguided. I called one day and I talked about a big quilt that all these races of people are woven into. We are the only people that's woven into this cloth without a culture. You know, every generation we move away from what we used to be. Every generation we conform more, we conform more, we conform more. And I think the millennials nowadays, because we don't control media, we don't educate our own. we don't teach our own. We don't keep them in that space or where we used to be. That this is why the millennials look at everything is all right. You're able. It used to be a time where black people had a sense of morality, where they frown at certain things that this society say it's all right. Nowadays, everything is all right. Everything that's wrong was wrong in our eyes back in the days. A lot of times the millennials, everything is, you can do whatever you want to do. You can think however you want to think. You can be whatever you want to be. But because we don't control our own, we don't define our own thinking, this is why I think a lot of times that fearlessness and that rebelliousness is misguided, because we don't have the tools, we don't have the media to define our thinking when it comes to our millennials, when it comes to the millennials. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Just think of this. I'm still on?
Yep, go ahead.
Am I still on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, just think about how we criticize a lot of black people about how other people comes over to the United States and they succeed, they strive, they prosper, why we can't do it. It's because when they come over here, they bring a culture, they bring a language. They have the base, the foundation is set from them. We're out here just trying to find ourselves because we don't have that culture other than dancing and music. What else do we contribute to? Because we don't control what is defined in our mind. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say.
That was, you got deep on us. Okay, so so basically I think in the absence of us having like a sort of like unified sense of culture that we can like pass down, it seems like each generation kind of got to keep starting over a little bit, like whether that's I think the technology has made it so that you can kind of define yourself. Like you can always get on the internet and find a group that you feel like you belong to. Now, how does that translate into social capital? Like I'm really unsure about, within the digital space. But I think from a generational perspective, like Alvin said in the comments, he said, ain't nothing special about your generation. And I'll tell you what's special about millennials is that for the first part of our lives, like we didn't have access to like cell phones and the internet so much so as we did in the latter part of our lives. So I feel like we millennials, the older millennials, like we still understand what it feels like to go outside and play or to even be sent outside to play. Like I didn't get a phone till I was probably driving. So like 16, 17. And so I didn't know what it was like to be able to like text people and like we all watch TV together. So I feel like that's the thing that's special about millennials is that we are in the middle of two different ways of doing things in terms of like technology. And I think that that's a strength. And so that's what's special, Alvin. So I just wanted to.
But like I said, my point is exactly like how King Salim said. He said actually the baby boomers are the most rebellious and hard-headed, and which is I agree because they come from an era in which they had to be. You know what I'm saying? But I always want to say like if someone older than me gives me advice, I always soak it in. You know, and then I try to listen, see what see what I can get from it. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand is their point of view, and maybe we can change some things. I believe that sometimes that the generation before or something, or they may take it as a disrespect if the millennium say something. But like I was trying to say, half the time it really just be our point of view of seeing some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So and they take that so much as being hard-headed when it's not. I'm not being hard-headed. I'm not being disrespectful. I just thought that more minds work better than one. You know what I'm saying? Hey, well, you see it like that, and then 90% of the time, the person that's giving the order is just really giving the order. You know what I'm saying? So that you know what I'm saying, the millennium is actually probably doing the job. So like you're trying to say, you probably get given, hey man, I've doing this, I've been doing this for 50 years and stuff like that. But you're in another position now, and now like the game change all the time. You know what I'm saying? So
the game do change, but some parts of it really do stay the same though.
For sure. status, and that's the reason why it's always good to combine minds. You know what I'm saying? So instead of be like, hey, man, that person being rebellious, or hey, that person is doing this, or like being, or like the millennials saying, hey, that old person don't know nothing and stuff like that. I guarantee if they both just came together and had a conversation, you know what I'm saying, then I guarantee they probably would have the coldest ideas together. But instead, we sitting in that the other generation be like the millennials hard-headed. We be like the older generation that's on the same old other stuff. But together, and that's the reason why I'm saying that's us fighting again to each other when we need to be on the same page and be like, all right, well, you know what, I'm gonna take your idea, this idea, you know what I'm saying, man, that's how it works.
Straight up.
But yeah.
You know, okay, so being on the, I remember being like a super younger millennial, right? When people really ain't care when people really don't care what you got to say. But now kind of coming into like, you know, coming of age, I think that I'm finding that dialogue across generations is much easier because they are more open to listening to my ideas because I'm older now. And I think that the thing that will help us is millennials, we like to work smart, not hard.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, that's like what we like to do. Is if you tell me it's going to take me 10 hours to do this,
I'm trying to figure out how to do it in 5.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it in 5, right? So that's the thing that people like and don't like about us because, you know, but I think if we combine that with strength, you know what I'm saying? Like we can get further.
We can get so much further instead of
we can get further.
This person right, this person wrong, this person right. Hey,
Straight
you know
up.
what? Hey, you know what? You told me that's gonna take 10 hours, but listen, you know, I'm just throwing an idea out there because eventually, if I'm working for you, I gotta do it your way anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say, hey, well, you know what? I noticed that if I just do this way, you know, it can really cut this. Be like, oh, okay. Instead of just being like, nah, it's my way. I've been doing it like this for 50 years. We gonna do it. Like, you didn't even give a chance for us to evolve as a people just to see how, you know what, man, this may work now. And then it may say you want some cash. Now you paying me for 10 hours. Now you only got to pay me for 5 hours.
But you know what? But check this out. And then this is a whole nother conversation. So in trying to figure out how to best intergenerationally work with Maze, right? I will say that Maze is much more open to listening to my ideas about ways to do things, right? He's open.
Fact.
Like way more than he used to be, right? And then so I'll say, Maze, here's a better way to do this. What you think? And you know, and then we meet in the middle on it, right? And so I think that that's truly the way to do it. But it required me to be like, okay, Ruthie, he done did this like 55 times. Like the man know what he talking about. So it does take a little bit of like compromise on both ends. But all right. It's 9:01, y'all. You want to take the last call? Go ahead.
They've been holding for 14 minutes. And
Our bad, caller. Go ahead.
And they auto screen video.
Go ahead, caller. What's up?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Ruthie and Reese. This is Easy E, and I hear what both of you are saying. You know, I was an instructor at a local trade school out here in the burbs, and I got to interact with a lot of millennials. And you're right, millennials, they don't want to carry the baggage that we as boomers, and Generation Xers carry. They have their own way of thinking. They have their own way of doing them things, And, with each generation, they want to do their own thing. Like, you start out as a radical in your 20s. And by the time you hit your 50s, if you're not a conservative, then, something's wrong. And that's just how people evolve, And, one thing that really struck me was back in the 80s and 90s when, these, rappers would have a concert, and white people and black kids get together, use the N-word in unison and rhythm, and, I was thinking, so what would Martin Luther King say if he, would go to a concert and seeing 5,000, kids, black and white. using the N word, what would he think? You know, he'd probably say, "What kind of shizzle?" You know, what the hell? You know, and you know, we fall asleep. You know, each generation has to have, like Paul Mooney used to say, each generation has to have their ninja wake up call. And for a lot of us, it was Emmett Till's murder. For a lot of us, you know, other generations, it was George Floyd's murder. You know, but it's, you know, we fall asleep. You know, each generation falls asleep. You know, why that is, you know, maybe it's a ramification of slavery, but, you know, we have to continue, you know, to wake us up, because one thing that each generation has in common is the racism that we have to deal with, you know, and I can understand, you know, millennials, you know, they don't want to deal with that baggage, you know. You know, a lot of these young kids don't have a problem with the N-word. We're giving it too much power, you know, what they say, you know. But you know, it's just one of those things, you know. And if I may, I'd like to put a suggestion out there in your suggestion box. You know, on Fridays, you know, because a lot of times, you know, I like to call in, and you know, the subject changes before I get prepared to call in. But if you could do like a recap Friday, you know, get it off your chest Friday, you know, open up to review everything you talked about during the week, and open it up, you know, and you know,
that's a really good idea.
For that idea. We're gonna get you what's in it for the black people shirt. We ain't gonna get a hoodie shirt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you so much for calling in.
But yeah, you know, Ruthie, what I'm trying to say is even this conversation is almost like a millennium verse. You know, baby boomers, the older generation, and then this same conversation we will have through the Gen X or Generation Y. Or
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I
agree.
It's
a continuous conversation, you know, so I definitely say, as, you know, like throughout my, you know, saying years of living, if somebody got there, then, you know, unless it was given to them, you know, they probably, well, not probably, then they do probably know more than you in that business aspect. But I just want to tell the other people out there, you can tell when like a millennium is hard-headed, stubborn. Like sometimes, man, they heart be in the right direction. You know, they just be trying to be creative.
They feel like theirs is too late,
or trying to open up. Like,
listen,
I want to say on the
Reese,
same level.
Reese, I think you said it best. Is these are conversations that are super necessary to like build bridges of understanding. And I like what the caller said, that we still fighting white supremacy. So like, how do we do that across the generations? And I think that's what we got to figure out is just how to keep building bridges. But I'm grateful for wisdom. Like I always seek wisdom, like all the time. And I know for the most part, that's coming from people who have more experience than me. So I'm always open to learning, because most people sometimes people don't be trying to give a game away. Yeah, y'all stop thinking that these millennium hard. Just, you know, ask them, say, you know what, make, you know, just ask instead of us assuming that it's disrespect or ask or something like that. Especially it be people that be having an argument and they both be grown. Like I understand that you know, like you may be 50 and then somebody else is 30. I always believe at that rate it should definitely be conversations. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was trying to say like. People think it'd be hard head, but it really just be one conversation. Have you ever really got into it with somebody and then you had hold on, I got you, and then had a conversation? I'm a millennium. I'm a lose. That's what I'm saying.
That already.
So
I'm a millennium. I'm a millennium.
You play poker?
So listen, I'm gonna sum it up. I'm just saying, have you ever been inside a situation to where you thought it was something, but then right after you had a conversation with them, you found out that it was really something else? All the time. And that's what that's what it really is. It's two people that's having a conflict, and what is really just needed is a conversation so they both sides can really understand on what's going on.
Sometimes you can't listen, Reese. Sometimes you can't get that.
And millenniums, when all else fail, just shut up and nod your head.
There you go. Just listen. All right, y'all. We done went over time, but thank y'all for finishing out the show with Reese and Ruthie. This is the Maze Jackson Show. So for Maze, Reese, Ruthie, I don't think we say.
And Todd, Frank,
what's
what
up in the
Todd?
comments? I think that if you don't like what we've been talking about, you can tell them that Maze said that millennials rock.
That's right.
We out of here.
Peace. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more lesbian than black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you can put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball.